Let me know when we're ready.
It's recording.
Oh, already? Okay, I'm not ready. I didn't have
shit.
I didn't have my shit out.
Oh, shit.
All right, let's continue our
tour of Spellslinger
our orientation of our gen ed classes at this stupid gimmicky university thing that I've kind of stuck. Somebody asked in the Discord, it's like, is this because we're going to Strixhaven? And I thought about it. I was like, I didn't think of that directly. Like
you did, but kind of mention the timing was nice.
Like the timing's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been kind of just trying my best to, I'm impatient for that release actually for the first time in a long time, just because of how we are with our releases these days.
Next month, baby.
Where do we leave off? So we covered kind of like this low MV Spellslinger style of play a little bit. Not too detailed, but I think we uncovered some stuff as we conversed too. So hopefully we'll get there with this as well.
Yeah.
To start from the top, if you didn't listen to the last episode, dear listener, I'm trying to take us through a journey with a focus of Spellslinger, right? In the last episode, we kind of talked about when do you have a Spellslinger deck on your hands, how much of your deck cares about the word instant or sorcery or non-creature, and some of this more open-ended stuff.
Yeah.
And then really, like, to put it simply, I wanted to divide the payoffs, or at least the tactics or strategy, around how often you jump through that hoop versus what is the payoff for really like digging deep and leaping through a higher hoop, higher up. So, if the hoop is really low, you can just jump through it multiple times. Right. So if it's a 2-mana permanent, and it just says, hey, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, I'm going to deal 1 damage to all your opponents.
Yeah.
Like, that to me speaks, to me, it's asking, do this a lot. Don't wait till you have 5 mana, cast 1 bombastic spell that it itself is great, but I'm only going to add 1 damage to that outcome.
Sure.
So as we shift over to what I would say is higher mana value spells and their use, and really trying to build a deck around them, we have to change our mindset simply because of that, right? Like, we're not able to, not without a lot of backflipping and candidly cheating costs, able to jump through the hoop multiple times. We're able to do it maybe once a turn. That frequency is going to come down a lot.
So like the gutter snipe is really nice if you can just chain off lots of spells, right?
Yeah.
Like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Gutter snipe, hit. But with high mana value stuff, the gutter snipe's not as great of a payoff.
Right.
Like, we got to find other things to see it.
Perfectly. Yeah.
Okay.
Mercifully, if we're making our selections, that's more fitting our meta and more, targeted, the effect of the card itself is more attractive. So before, we spent a lot of time talking about, cantrips replacing itself and putting another card in hand, which makes sense. It basically, our feet land on the ground and we can jump again.
Yeah. Or
we get more mana and we can jump again through this hoop, like our gutter snipe example.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of different triggers, but we'll stick with that one, right?
Yeah.
Here, mercifully, the card itself should give us something that is of value at a higher rate. So if you take at a higher impact rather.
Yeah.
And a higher rate, it's more mana. But like, you could go from Ponder, that's 1 mana, to something like, I don't know, Divination, which is 3 mana, but it gets you 2 extra cards, or Quick Study, which is an instant that gets you 2 cards. And I still think you're in low MV, but then if you take another jump and go to, I don't know, Big Score, it's 4 mana to expose you to 4 mana and a card, even, I guess, if you think that's part of the cost, depending on how you've constructed things. 4 mana and a card to draw you 2 new cards and then actually give you treasure for the future.
Yeah.
So it gives you 2 more treasure. And if your deck cares about this, you can mine that fact.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I now have treasures. What can I do with that? So that's why these cards are popular also. Like, Big Score is not a cheap card. Neither is Unexpected Windfall. Like, these are
people
not
are
pricey, but they're
using
used cards.
Yeah.
So I would say that we start shifting up in mana value when we're around 4 and above. It's a huge range of cards from there, and I couldn't sit here and pocket them all and bracket them it would just be a lot of work. But I'm going to say if your deck is starting to look like most of the instants and sorceries are in it are 4 or higher, we're in the high mana value school.
Okay.
Another thing that we discussed is just kind of the, I don't know, like to quote CC Orion, you can draw the big half of your deck over here, the wrong half of your deck, we'll say, to make it simpler.
Oh, that's
in
a
a
good
low
point.
MV area, you're drawing the permanents that care about the instants and sorceries being cast,
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't find the instants and sorceries if you've done the balance in a way that doesn't make sense, or even if you have and you just kind of get hosed that way. That's a risk, right? Or you've drawn only the instants and sorceries and none of the payoffs. That's not so much of a danger because we've been given payoffs in low mana value that just exist in the zone. Stellally, VV, like you have things that aren't going to fail you so much because of your commander.
Yeah.
But there can be that game where you're drawing your gutter snipes and its cousins and none of your instants and sorceries.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, that doesn't seem bad in isolation, but meanwhile, the mono green deck is getting up and up and up and trampling, attacking creatures and heading towards their big overrun effect or whatever. The mono white deck is board wiping as they should, and all of your shit just gets eaten away. So you can't protect your triggers and don't get them, and then you start drawing the instants and sorceries, and there's just nothing to really feed off of. Like
the deck never saw itself.
Right, like that's just that's making it simple. I'm not even speaking about the 3-color precon deck that just fucking goes because it's raw gas, or the 5C elemental deck that's just cheating elementals in for no fucking reason. Like, so you fall behind.
These are things.
You fall behind. And then there's the other piece that we talked about where you don't really get a lot of charity because you're kind of bothering people with your time consumption, and you're bothering people with affecting their life totals a little bit when you're using those style of cards. And so the danger is there. But then so my plan here is to iterate on the things that we already talked about, but from a perspective of doing things with the higher MV.
Okay.
So things are better and worse, I think, when we start thinking about the Spellslinger problem.
Yeah.
When you increase the mana value of the spell, where you're like, yeah, I'm not so interested in Ponder and Preordain anymore. I want stuff that's going to have a bigger impact on the game. One, you have to develop mana for it. That's just a problem. Like, these spells are not able to, you just can't cast them early or often. You have to kind of wait, and you get them infrequently. The other problem is that it's hard to know which ones are going to be worth the mana for the game that you're in. Not necessarily the format that you play, but the actual game that you're in. Like, you could have something that says Vandal Blast, destroy all artifacts, which is 5 mana. It's a 5 mana to overload it, and it's just destroy all artifacts you don't control. Really crazy one-sided way to level things off. What if there's no artifacts, or there's like 2? Like, let's say Kyle does have, you can always do the other one, which is destroy 1, but like, what if there's just not enough?
Sure.
In this case, you don't really have a payoff that's set. Like, even if it's just the gutter snipe, is it really worth just shooting the spell to drain out your mana to deal 2 damage to everybody and destroy a handful of artifacts?
Sure.
So the stakes get higher, I think, actually, from spell to spell. There will be games where you're like, oh, this is the fucking card. And by the way, Vandal Blast is rarely not the card, but there are places where it's like, it just doesn't seem to have the impact.
I feel like this is like maybe my thing with Spellslinger. I have these moments where I'm just like, these cards that are really good in Andy's deck, I'm having a moment where I don't fucking need it. Why?
Yeah. And it could be this, right? I put them in there because they're good against my opponents, and you are one of my opponents.
And I'm one of your opponents.
So you're going, he doesn't play on this axis because he plays around cards like this. So like, for one of the ones I love is Brotherhood's End. But I build decks around Brotherhood's End. I'll be like, am I too vulnerable to this card? Because Vulnerable End, or Brotherhood's End, says deal 3 damage each creature or destroy all artifacts of MV3 or less for 3 mana. It's an incredible card, but you could find yourself with the majority of the signets. You could be on the side of, I don't want to shoot that side. I'll do or maybe you're really low. You've got a lot of tokens and they're just going to get burned off.
Yeah, it's true.
So weirdly, I use it in a high MV deck where I'm not likely to be hurt by the 3 damage. I'm not going to hit all my stuff. So maybe it's stuff like that where it's like, I'm kind of building around it. And we've had a treasure heavy meta on and off. I don't think we're in one right now, but tokens are always a thing. But I don't really play tokens. but Tiff always does. You like tokens.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Zach likes tokens. Brad will do it.
So it makes sense for you.
It just makes sense for me.
Yeah.
Where you are probably you're probably better suited.
It's borderline for me in those situations, right? Because it's like, okay.
It depends. Yeah.
If I'm not playing them and Andy's not playing them, half the table's not playing them. So is it good for me?
Yeah. So this is a thing we have to grapple with the higher we go up in mana is how relevant are they to what we're doing. When it's just draw a bunch of cards, things kind of drop off really quickly. It's why you don't really see the prices. Like Ponder and Preordain, they're not expensive cards, but they have some heft to their price, even considering how many times they've been reprinted.
Yeah.
But some of these like big X spells, they're 25, they're in the 25 to 35 cent range.
It's true. You don't have to spend on those.
Why? Because there's just the conditions that need to make the card good.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good point.
There's the macro conditions, which is what is the color of the card? What is that color already doing that doesn't, like Ristic Study, in the face of all the blue draw that people have available to it, it's still super expensive because it's still in the face of all the blue draw that people could use. It's still good.
Still pretty fucking good.
And Con Sphinx, like in the face of all of your other options, it's still insane. But then there's the white versions of these where, it's just the only thing.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to use mono white or Boros or something like that, I kind of need these cards. So what is it? The Aether, whatever, the one white human guy that's basically like it does its best imitation of Mystic Remora. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he's expensive. He's like a $50 to $70 card,
the
dude.
like soldier thing.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
The human, whatever.
And I think that's because there's just not a lot of options equivalent to him.
True. And
there's a CEDH notion, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's a one mana value creature.
Non-creature spells that are like they're going to be popping off like crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's just how that format goes. So the price is, I think the card functionality is a function of, obviously it's a scarcity but its usefulness, its ubiquity, its lack of ubiquity, its relationship to options in the same color, whether they exist or not. And then, in Ristic Study's case, it meets a lot of these conditions where it's like it doesn't get reprinted. In the face of its cohort, it's still fucking crazy. It's in a wildly popular color identity, and it's relevant across almost every style of play in this format. And as such, it's now a game changer, so we can cut off at least half of the people playing it. So the price is just insane.
Yeah.
But as you move up in the mana range with instants and sorceries, they don't seem to be able to keep up with a lot of this. They fall off really fast. It's like, if they haven't been printed for a while, maybe their price is high, but they're just so much mana. They're just so much mana to shoot these bigger spells. So they're cheaper.
Yeah.
They're cheaper.
I hadn't really thought about that with some of those because like when you're
generally
building like
generally cheaper.
Yeah, like a Blue Sun Zenith, right? Like is one that one's maybe a little more than some of those other X draw spells, but
yeah, in all of its cousins, they're not that,
but they're not that expensive.
Yeah, I think the most expensive one is the one that has the least color pips that are demanding of it, and I think it's only been printed a couple times. It's like Mind Spring or something like that.
Sure.
But and it's an instant. So, like Aether Gale, let's use this one for example. It's 5 mana to return 6 target non-land permanents to their owner's hands. It's a hell of a spell. It's like 35 cents. It's just not. It's not used. At 5 mana, there's better creatures decks that don't have the ambition to go after something like this. There's better creatures at 5 mana. There's better enchantments at 5 mana. There's a whole lot of better. There's even better instant sorceries at 5 mana, but it's a really crazy spell, dude. Like you can unwind an entire board of somebody's. Often people don't control more than 6 valuable creatures. They'll get jumped or a bunch of permanents. Let's grab this expensive artifact. Let's take your Gilded Lotus. Let's do that Soul Ring also. Like all back to hand, and it's a pretty good unwind, But it's 35 cents because it's not as widely useful as a Ponder. Ponder's like $3 or $4 or something. Like, and it's banned in a couple formats besides Commander. But it's just so good because you get a lot for your mana out of it. It's almost never bad to draw a Ponder.
Do you feel like with cards like Aether Gale? Because you saying like, this is a great card. And I think
it is a great card.
And I'm like, I think I'm guilty of being that person who is looking at other options, and I'm like, okay, if I just swing a little further mana, I can, and obviously with the game changers, it's different now, but if I just spend a little more, I've got Cyclonic Rift.
Yeah, you totally do.
And
for 2 more, you've got something that's widely regarded as a very powerful effect.
Yeah. And like in this range, it's like, okay, or do I just wait for a certain condition where they're attacking me and I just bump everything?
With like Aether Tide Spouts.
Or do I just go ahead and bite the bullet and I do, evacuate and I have my own stuff go?
Mm-hmm.
Analysis of cards like this is hard for someone like me.
Yeah. Because why? The conditions. It's exactly what you said. What's better? There's going to be a game where you're like, the Evacuate is better than this Aether Gale. But I think you can also envision a game where the Aether Gale is like, it bounces exactly what I need out of the way.
Yeah.
If Andy's sitting on a bunch of big, juicy artifacts, like Darksteel Forge, and I've got the Nev's Disc, and like I'm doing something like that, that evacuation isn't going to save you from what I'm doing. This is Magic. All cards do this, but it's more acute here because neither give you a board state.
Right.
One will unwind the one you have and possibly more, and this one's a lot of mana. Then they're both, so the stakes get higher, even worse for high mana value.
And the analysis is just like, it is so bizarre, right? Because I'm like, okay, but if I'm in the low mana value school, I might be running an unsummon, which is 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Is unsummon non-land permanents, or is it just creatures?
Unsummon is just creatures, but there are versions of it that will bounce stuff, yeah.
Whereas this thing is non-land permanents, and it's 6 for 5.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Actually, the rate, when you think about it in that regard,
it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buy 5, get 1 free.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
right.
Okay.
You buy 5 smoothies and you give your card in. And
you got your punch card.
Punch card. Well, that's one hell of a punch card. But yeah. So the stakes are higher, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and
because in the example of I can unsummon in a low MV deck, we have to bring back that context of, but he also controls VV, he also controls a Gutter Snipe, he also controls a Stella Lee. Like there's a version of this where he has all of these triggers that are ready to see that unsummon. And they go, all right, well, deal 2 to everything, exile a card from the top of your library because it's your second spell. Oh, and deal 1 to everything and put a charge counter on me, and I can give you mana for that later.
Yeah.
So like all of those things could happen. That's a real outcome for a low MV Spellslinger deck. But up here, it's like, let's say all of those are still true. You waited and waited and waited and waited, and somehow, some way you do, this is your spell. I don't know. Like it starts to make less sense, I think.
Yeah.
Like the probability is harder to work with up here to make the stars align. Like you and I were, before we started talking, you were talking about sports betting. This is, you don't want to parlay, I guess,
right.
with a spell like this, where I need to control this and this and this. And if I draw this, this is just dangerous. Like to start thinking like this.
Yeah, you're putting yourself in these like bad statistical
in any
categories.
Deck, but especially Spellslinger decks, because if you had a creature version of Aether Gale, it would be an incredible goddamn card.
Oh, fuck. No question.
It'd have to, in fact, it would need to have some modifications of it can't target itself, like other non-land permanents or permanents you don't control. Like they would have to start adding rules to it simply because it's a creature.
Yeah, it's true.
It would be incredible. Okay, and at the end of turn, I'm going to run it through Thassa's Oracle. Oh, and I'm going to clone it, and I'm going to reanimate it. I'm going to clamp it, and then sack it, and then reanimate it. Like, there's way more bending you can do. This is why this is just not a thing yet.
Yeah.
An Aether Gale that's a creature. There's versions of it, like the freaking Kraken that bounces everything that ain't as big as how many islands you have or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So am I making things a little crystalline as we head into this?
I am, because I'm starting to see something that I have questions about with what you're presenting, of just like maybe the judiciousness that exists here in a different way than with the low mana value.
Yeah.
And like having to consider what the context. I think that's another thing I'm really interested in, the context of your card choices.
Yeah. Right. Again, this is just orientation.
Yeah.
My plan is to do episodes where we'll build one of these decks and be like, okay, we need to be mindful of these.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm going for. And then hopefully like get listeners to give me some of their ideas about how they're handling this kind of idea. And I'm already seeing some on the Discord. I'm like, oh, so the next thing that I think we probably should talk about, because we keep bringing it up, is the payoffs. Like, what does a payoff look like for something like this? Because it's so delayed. It's so delayed
Yeah.
how we arrive there. I think you have to change what you think is a payoff or not, or you don't have them. You're like, there isn't any. I'm just using the spells for the spell's sake, which you need to start heading in another direction if you're going to go there, is what my advice would be.
Sure.
So what is a payoff? Let's just think like the gutter snipe example, right? In low MV, it's the impact tremors for Spellslinger, I guess, is the closest.
Yeah.
Or it's a Perforos of Spellslinger, I guess.
Yeah.
Over here, where you're now approaching 4, 5, 6, 7, it starts to make less sense, because this is what it looks like. On turn 3, I resolve gutter snipe. On turn 4, I don't do anything. On turn 5, I don't do anything. And then on turn 6, I finally have enough mana to, I don't know, like let's say we do Sublime Epiphany. So it's a 6 mana instant, choose one or more. Counter target spell, counter target activated or triggered ability, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, create a token that's a copy of creature you control, target player draws a card. So all of this has happened. I on 3 did my gutter snipe, did nothing on 4, did nothing on 5, did nothing on 6. And I shoot this spell. And let's say I do it where I can hit most of the modes, right? I do the counter mode, I bounce a non-land permanent, I make another gutter snipe, and I even draw a card. This is probably the best case outcome for a permanent like this. But on top of all of that, I just dealt 2 damage. That's all I did.
And had to have it survive that long for it to even happen.
True.
Right?
Yeah. This is like if nothing went wrong, like no one toxic deluged or whatever to get rid of gutter snipe, because it's kind of a higher target. Like people shouldn't really leave it around, right?
Yeah.
But could I on the way have just shot, I don't know, big score on 4? And then this on 5 because I'd have treasure?
Yeah.
Or could I have just like, I don't know, done a mana rock or something? Like there's other things I could be doing other than adding 2 to what I've just done. I guess that the big thing is are you really getting your dollar for your money? I think when we're talking about up here. So like a while ago in my house, I have this giant room in my basement. We call it the great room. It's just fucking big. It's basically a quarter of the size of my entire house. It goes from one side of my house to the other. It's this massive part of my house. And I called my real estate agent and I was like, hey, I want to like cut this room in half and add another bedroom. And she's like, yeah, that big one in your basement? And I'm like, yeah, because it's just fucking huge and I just don't really need it. I don't use it. It's just this big ass room. I don't have children. I don't know. I don't have a bowling alley that I wouldn't put in here. Like it's quite big, you know. Yeah. Probably could fit a mini bowling alley.
You cut yourself a little like There Will Be Blood like
exactly
location.
Exactly, but like the Dave and Buster's size one. So me and Kyle are in this room right now, right? And it's actually something that we've contended
I'm
with.
Just liking this idea. You sitting down here. I drink your milkshake.
Just going through that scene. Kyle, I need you to be the priest again. Andy, come on. I don't know. I need you to be. I need to blow off some steam. I need you to be the priest again. Whatever the dude. Eli. Yeah, Eli. But I call her up and I'm like, I want to do this. I want to, because there's actually like a logical way to make this work where we divide the room and actually we can come in through the hallway and like set up another room. And she starts asking me all these questions of like, well, would it connect to the bathroom? You know?
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't. It would be on its own. She's like, okay, so it wouldn't be like the main bedroom, right? No, it'd just be the biggest bedroom in the house. And so she's asking me all this stuff and she's like, look, you can do it. And it'd probably be okay. But like because I'm asking her because of the value. Like, what does it do to the value of my home? Does it bring it up or down or do nothing?
Yeah.
And in her mind, it's like, I just don't think you're going to get a lot of what she said is every dollar you put into your house, ideally, and this she's provisioning, ideally you want to get more than $1 out. She's in my experience in Utah, the 2 places where you get the most money are a new bathroom or new kitchen. That's the 2 places that people don't want to deal with. They want those to already be upgraded and to standard or aesthetically or whatever.
Yeah.
So she's like, if you're looking to just spend money on things, I think that would be a better use of a more, I can't remember how she phrased it, but like it's more likely that would appeal to a broader audience of buyers if the day comes where I want to sell this place, essentially is what she said, you know? And I'm like, okay, so I did exactly that. Like, I don't know if you remember that old busty tub that was upstairs.
Yeah,
like,
you had your bathroom
I got that
redone.
that part of it.
Well, that chunk of it at least, yeah.
more expensive, but the way she put it is like generally you want to get like $1.50 out of your bathroom and $2 out of your kitchen for every dollar you put in.
Yeah.
It's just like, she's like, that's how we try to do it. Because if we come back and try to sell your place, I'm going to ask you, like, have you done anything to these spaces? And I want to fit that around it.
Yeah.
And she's like, keep track of how much you spent so we can figure it out, whatever. And this is years and years ago. Who the fuck knows what's going on with the market now? But this was then.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it. And her other argument was like, I don't know, man, that room is kind of cool. And some people aren't you and might want a big ass fucking room to put all of their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade cabinets in it. I don't know.
All the kids can go disappear into the basement and smell funky down there.
Something like some people this might be a feature, not a, what the hell is this for me? So I think something similar can be applied to moving up in mana value, right? Like, is the gutter snipe the bathroom or is it just some weird bedroom that we put in?
I like that.
Doing 2 damage to everybody on top of what I said. And that was the best spell I could think of to really push this up because they're like, well, now you got 2 gutter snipe.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes less sense. So payoffs, I think, also need to fit the mana a little better. So if you think about, I don't know, Vial Smasher, like to just bring up my favorite goddamn legend, one of them.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, well, in that exact same scenario, I can't clone Vial Smasher necessarily, but I can do all of those things, bounce the thing, do the counter, draw the card, some of the modes, but then somebody's taking 6 to the face.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
6. That's 3 gutter snipe triggers in one to play, I'm only hitting one person, but
sure.
Or Lord of Pain or something that's fitting
around
the spell.
Those. Yeah.
So the payoffs, they need to be thought about a little bit. And candidly, those payoffs usually come with their own mana burden attached to them. They're not as easy like to pull off. They're usually going to be like, hey, if this happens, it's going to cost more.
Yeah.
So you got to fit that around there too. So the deck construction just starts to look different. It just starts to look different. It is less interested in hammering on specific triggers off of a specific permanent. The effects that we want on the cards can't be just, and I draw a card or I add a little bit of mana more than I had before into my mana pool. We start needing things like everything goes back to people's hand. All artifacts are fucking destroyed. I counter a spell, I draw a thing, and I clone it, and I bounce a permanent. Like, the impact has to match the cost. And the game does this for us, hopefully.
Yeah.
Everybody mills 10 goddamn cards, and I will get a creature from every one of them.
Yeah, like there's scale going with all of this.
So the scale needs to be more impactful. So as such, we need to be more thoughtful with our choices. And that's not something I can help listener. I'm not sure what your meta looks like. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Is Breach the Multiverse going to fizz in your meta because it's very non-creature, low mana value bracket 4 deck or higher? Or is it we're closer to the 3 and 2 range where it's likely to hit something pretty fucking hard?
Right.
And it's a good spell just to keep me going.
Huh.
I don't really care what I hit. I'm just going to have blockers because I can't produce them myself. Or I'm going to smash for fucking 7.
Right.
You see?
Yeah. Yeah.
So where a Reanimator deck would be interested in a card like this because it can drive the outcome a little better, maybe a high MV Spellslinger deck also wants it just because it's a big spell. Big spell. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And big spell.
Big spell.
It just happens. And what's crazy lately is that this company loves to give us big spell.
They truly
we just
do, though.
Keep getting
right?
big spell.
They're like, hey, check out big spell.
That onslaught card that makes a goddamn ton of tokens that have haste and red. Fucking Breach the Multiverse a few years ago. Like, they just love giving us big spell.
Just like, imagine them being like Joe Bluth. Like, look at Banner, Michael. Look at big spell, Michael.
Look at big spell, Michael. Yeah, seriously. And it's cool to build a deck around it. So my experience specifically with this lately has been with 2 different decks. One was the Vial Smasher Galandra thing. Like, I was like, it is a air quote Spellslinger list.
Yes.
Those 2 facilitate a lot of what I'm needing in a different way. Galandra is like, hey, well, like, if I'll give you mana, and if that spell is 6 or greater, I'll just give you a card, which if you really think about that, it ain't that great. Of what I've said, I took turn 3 off to mercifully get myself to turn 5. Like, if it didn't have a mana attachment to it, I don't know if I'd really care.
Sure.
One card for all of this ain't enough, baby. Like, I need more than that because I'm refurbishing my bathroom here.
It's true.
I seriously am, dude. And that was a fucking hassle getting that thing done. Like, You see?
Yeah, like, and there's
And then-
unforeseen hassles on the other
And
side.
the Smasher's
too.
like, okay, well, because big spell, I'm going to big damage.
True.
So the payoffs have to matter. The card's effects have to matter. And that's harder to do because, like, I'm not sure. Like, exactly what Kyle said. Like, I'll use cards that work well for Andy. And for me, they just feel like meh, mid, or even lower.
Yeah.
Or not applicable.
Yeah.
Because you're not building.
I'm playing for a different play group than you
right,
are.
you're just imitating what has worked.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, that was crazy.
Yeah.
You know? But it's like,
which is worth testing out,
Yeah,
right?
you know-
It's worth testing to see if
yeah. I mean, Breach the Multiverse is good in everybody's deck. I almost
right.
want to
Like
say.
there's some
Yeah.
where it's just like
Yeah.
there's some that are obvious. There's some that it's like, oh, that worked well in our group, and testing and realizing, oh wait, it worked well for Andy in our group.
Yeah. So what have we done so far? We've kind of compared this against our the other college that we're working next to.
Yeah.
We've talked about some of the pitfalls of just like, yeah, your board presence is just not there. You have to take these different steps that this other group does, and the spells of just the texture of what they do needs to be more. It just needs to be thought about more. Like it just can't be. It's
Yeah.
pondered. Not to say that those spells don't belong here. They can be weaved in between
Sure.
ponders and preordains and things like that. But if we're really trying to build something that's different and we're really trying to be, valedictorians in this college
Mhm.
or whatever they are, like it's going to look different because of these
Yeah.
elements.
Yeah. We're trying to make the dean's list here.
Yeah. So how do we help these things along? I think is the thing I want to talk about. What are the payoffs? There's just a number of payoffs that we can think about, and then just really the spells themselves. Which ones are worth it?
Yeah.
Let's quickly jump. Let's break our ankle a little bit. Let's talk about just tools.
Okay.
Because everybody's like, we just need no more fucking mana. Like that's what's required. So more mana rocks. Like how am I going to do this? Yes, truly. Yes. Your mana commitment will look different than something that's deliberately, if you go and click stats and look up their mana curve, it's like a 2.5 or a 1.8 or something. It's crazy low. It's not
True.
going to look like that over here.
True.
It's going to be like 3 high 3s, maybe even 4 flat. It's going to look different. So mana is a tool. And then the other thing is just like making them go further, which is, I wouldn't even really call them a payoff. It's a tool. So the first one that just jumps out to me is a tool is getting twins off of them. So if we think back about
absolutely.
that last thing, somebody might argue with me like that's a payoff. Sure. But really to me, it's you're just getting more from the spell, I suppose.
Which is like a huge mana investment to cast that spell anyways. You may as well squeeze it, right?
Yeah. Obviously, you need more mana. I would expect to see your mana rock density is higher, your mana count is higher, or
And probably some higher
Or
curve rocks,
yeah,
right?
or you've got it in the zone. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be freaked out to see a Ruby Gruul Spellslinger list. I mean, like the big sell on those cards was they can cast their 4 MV ramp card that grabs
Yeah.
them 2 lands
Yeah.
versus the other ones that don't do that.
True.
You know, like I wouldn't be shocked to see that. Like, yeah, she makes sense. Like she'll help you with
Totally.
these crazy goddamn spells. Absolutely.
Totally.
So without going into the obvious, which is you need to solve for mana, I guess I could hit you with, does the spell create treasure? That helps. It's both a spell and it ramps you.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's drawn late and you have some of these amplification effects that we care about, the outcome will be more robust, but it also kind of helps you get there. So that big score helped me get to that Sublime Epiphany in my first example.
Yes.
Things like that. Artifacts that care about instants and sorceries being cast specifically, like the Seance board thing. Like, it just sees things die and picks up these weird counters, and it's saying, well, hey, I can keep giving you more and more mana equal to how many counters I have on me. There's permanents out there that help with this specifically.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
Okay.
And things that just seem anodyne to your opponents, like, I don't know, the Palladium Mirror. It's like, okay, I can block I mean, you will have to block eventually, but like, I can block, but it's also kind of a floating soul ring. It does a good imitation of, for our purposes,
Get to the bigger stuff.
right? For our purpose, a haughty djinn that goes off twice or something. Like,
Yeah.
Like for us, that's how it's going to look. Cost reduction is not super interesting to us, because of that problem.
Right.
But just raw mana is. So
Sure.
treasure production, the guy that gives your opponent a tap treasure and you an active one on your turn.
Oh, right.
And he has menace or fucking Descent into Avernus. Like these are crazy, but like, dude, you don't have the board presence to cope with this anyway.
Sure.
And the quicker you get into these spells, hopefully if you've made the right selection, you've shopped in the right part of the mall and got the stuff that's really contextual for your meta, you'll probably be okay. And it won't be so much the treasure they're getting. They will just, oh God. And yeah, you can Vandal Blast it, I guess. But
you look fucking sucker.
So there, I quickly gave you some ideas there, but really like the tools I'm thinking about also. So like one that sticks out, and this is kind of a shitty one to bring up because it's so expensive. It's artificially expensive in a lot of ways, but this is the one I've been enjoying lately, and Kyle will remember this story. It's the Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch. So it's 2, a blue, and a red for a creature demon. It's a 2/4. It has some characteristics that we're familiar with, and the reason I like it here, I'll get to that. But at the beginning, so let's read the second line. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, the Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch deals 1 damage to each opponent. I don't care about that, candidly. I just don't.
Sure.
Because of everything that I've laid out, it's not really worth it to stop on 4, do something on 6 to add only 1 extra damage. That's not a bathroom for us. That's just not worth it, you know? But what is crazy is at the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand.
Oh. Okay.
So let's just say there's the Aether Gale. In my upkeep, it's the only card that's down there. The random nature of this is not as likely to be not a problem, but like we were able to be more certain about what the fuck we're gonna get back in our hand.
If you have like 2 or 3 big mana value instants or sorceries that end up in your yard, well, you probably know
exactly
with some certainty what you're getting.
So let's say this is the play, and I don't like doing this, but I'm really just trying to like lay it out. On 4, I resolve this. On 5, I resolve Aether Gale. That is the only spell I've cast this turn. How do you feel?
I'm like, well, we're in a loop that's not going to be good for me.
Like, cool. What do you think he's going to do on his next turn?
Right.
I turn begin. No card needs to be selected at random. It's only Aether Gale.
Yeah.
Let's say I play a land and I pass, and you're like, where the fuck is the Aether Gale? We go to your turn. You try to do something. I Sublime Epiphany it, copy this thing, and now that's the only spell in my library.
Yeah, in
my graveyard. I mean,
yeah.
You're like, okay. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Yeah. It just depends. Can this be overcome? I don't know. That Aether Gale, I hopefully selected a lot of targets of things that are going to come back at me. But now I have a way to protect this thing, continue to copy it, bounce another thing of yours, draw a card and introduce new information to my hand, and then it just comes right back.
Yeah.
To me, this card is really strong. It's strong even in the low MV school because of that. It deals 1 damage. And do you really care about what you get out of your graveyard or whatever? But I like it here as a shining example of a tool for higher MV. People really don't want to see a second Aether Gale. They'll be shocked to see the first one. They'll be like, sorry, does what? And then you demonstrate it again, and now they're going, oh, cool. You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
This is just kind of a short example of something that I think is better fitting the mana value. There's a Charmbreaker Devils. They almost have exactly the same language. In fact, they get +X+O, where X is that mana value, and they do the card at random, right? Or do they just get +4? What do they do? The Charmbreaker.
Yeah. So they say at the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand.
So same language.
And then whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, they get +4/+O.
+4/+O. Okay, got it.
Turn.
Got it.
This is 5 and a red to cast, by the way.
Yeah. So more. It's 2 more mana, but that is
I mean, that's an 8/4 that's attacking just for 1 instant or sorcery, right?
Yeah.
Plus the return.
That's the part that's
which
scary.
is what we're after.
He got his Sublime Epiphany back. You know, doubling spells is, I think, more potent here. Like it just
absolutely
is. If you can get it in a low MV situation, it's great. But like, I don't know, man. Like half the time, it's just, look, we'll just cast the next instant or sorcery that did the same thing as the last one before it and mine the trigger. So copying spells up there is different. They're looking for something more like 1,000-Year Storm, where it's looking to get the velocity or quantity of spells copied. Where here, 2 Aether Gales is 12 non-land permanents. I think I'll run out of targets.
Yeah.
2 Sublime Epiphanies is a bunch of modes, more bounces, more card, and a little bit more draw, and a bunch of clones of things.
Absolutely.
So cloning spells or twinning spells or copying spells, however you want to call it, it's I think a much stronger tool for this type of play, and it's worth taking the time off to basically cast the spell twice that you probably shouldn't have any business getting double those effects. You pondering twice is not that crazy, I guess.
Sure.
And it doesn't look much different than casting Ponder and Brainstorm in the same turn. But here, it's like, dude, what did you just do? What did you just do? So you following me with that a little bit?
I am. I'm curious if you have some added commentary about where this fits in terms of effectiveness, because there's lots of different choices for how to do this, right? Like you have things like a dual caster mage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, okay, now we've got an extra body out there that maybe could be manipulated some other ways.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also instants that allow you to copy spells,
like Reiterate, which if you have the mana, you can bounce it back, which you're unlikely to do that here. But
right. Yeah. Or there's the things that are like big investment permanents, like Thousand Year Storm, or like
Thousand Year Storm. I wouldn't use that.
Or like the Lithoform Engine, where you're 4 mana to put it out and you're 3 mana to copy an instant or sorcery. It doesn't have to be yours. You could find some others, but
the ones I like, if that's what you're asking, are things where they go down, they challenge someone's removal, and if they're not removed, I don't need to do anything from there forward. So like my favorite is just Double Vision.
Okay.
3 red. The first instant or sorcery you cast on every turn is twinned. Period.
Yeah.
Is it ongoing? No, it only goes once.
Sure.
It's not like it. You know, it's very good. It's very good for a deck like this. If it's a ramp spell I cast next, oh wow! Like I picked up a lot of mana.
Yeah.
From something like that. If I do this Aether Gale, I'm bouncing 12 permanents. That's more than enough. Another one that's really kind of cracked is the Summon GF Cerberus. 2 red for a 3/3 enchantment creature, Saga Dog. I actually kind of like that, Saga Dog. Its first act is just Surveil 1, right? Look at the top card, decide what you're going to do with it, or bin it, whatever. Its next act is just double. When you cast the next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. So it won't work for instance, but Aether Gale's a sorcery. Some of these big draw spells are a sorcery. Like a lot of these bigger impact, right? Double fucking Breach the Multiverse. Like, you have no right doing that. How dare you, sir? Then its last one is triple. It'll just go off 3 times.
Crazy.
So if that spell, that middle spell, drew you into some more of these other banger fucking cards, the next one's gonna go off 3 goddamn times.
Yeah.
And this thing just does its job. All of this was with 4 mana. So like Lithoform Engine, Thousand Year Elixir, or not there's Thousand Year Storm.
Thousand Year Storm.
The setup for these I don't find are worth it. They're not worth the stop.
Like Thousand Year Storm, you're taking a turn off from your big spells at probably a critical juncture of the game, too.
And you need to resolve 2 spells to pick up the twin.
Yeah.
Because you have to kind of like,
That's true.
You gotta jump
That's true. Because that one has that requirement, right?
Right. A newer one, Spine Rock Tyrant. It's a 6/6 Wither flying for 5. So that character, that's enough for me. Like that's so crazy already. Wither.
Yeah.
At 6, but whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell with a single target, you may copy it. If you do those spells gain Wither, you may choose new target for the copy. So things like, there's a lot. Like, I don't know, Prophetic Bolt. You get 2 Prophetic Bolts.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the best next 8 cards, dealing 8 damage to 2 different. Wither damage too. So it kind of shrivels the creature. It's good.
We can do work over time.
It's really good with targets. I mean, it's even good with just a lightning bolt or something. But Arcane Bombardment, 6 mana. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, exile an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard, then copy it. Copy each card exiled with Arcane Bombardment. You may cast any number of those copies without paying the mana cost. I just feel like the bang for but like you're going to hit something big with this. It'll be harder to jump through that hoop, but if what gets stuck in there is an Aether Gale and your big score, right? Either one of those is just a more powerful outcome than like an additional ponder.
True.
I mean, Pongify is great too. This is just a good card, but like it seems to pay itself quicker, better, or let's say harder, stronger than with the bigger spells.
Channel your Daft Punk here a little bit. Huh?
These are just tools I'm thinking about. Fury Storm, Every time you've cast your commander, this thing twins, but it's 4 mana to start twinning cards. So it's like it's a temporary moment, right? Bonus round's just crazy in every deck, but like it's great here too. Archaeomancer, Ardent Elementalist, the dancers. So
these return them back.
They just seem better overall in a high mana value. These are high mana value alumni wizards to me and shaman. I wouldn't bother with a Archaeomancer to pull back a ponder.
Sure.
You'll Archaeomancer maybe your Arcane Denial back or your Reality Shift, but here it just seems better because it can be cloned with some of these effects. It can be bounced with some of these effects. Like this in Aether Gale is pretty hard lock because Aether Gale can target the Archaeomancer, pulling it back to your hand. So if you figured out your mana and we're climbing up, there's conditions in which you can do your Ardent Elementalist as part of your targets with the Aether Gale type sitch, or you can clone it with your Epiphany, and now the Epiphany's back in your fucking hand. Like
this one makes me feel like I do want the Lithoform engine because now you can target, you can clone or copy your Archaeomancer as well.
Perfect.
So I'm going to get 2 spells
If you can
back.
do it at instant speed, I'm all over that. So I think it's a better fit here.
Yeah.
Or another one that really jumps out is Cursed Recording. This almost like screams like don't use me in the other school. It's 4 mana, so it's pretty low.
Yeah.
Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a time counter on Cursed Recording. Then, if there are 7 or more time counters on it, remove those counters, and it deals 20 damage to you.
Oh, yeah.
But you can tap your next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. I don't know if you're ever going to get 7 big spells out of your hand before this thing does its dark work and blows up in your face. You could easily hit the 20 with the instants of sorceries. And again, I just don't think the bang is, I don't think taking turn 4 off is worth it so much. I think your turn 4 should be the Archmage and you're drawing with every little spell that you're casting, where here it's like turn 4 and then turn 5.
True.
Double big spell.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That's a different style there that feels important.
You could be crazy and just be like, well, I'll eventually hit my Abrade and destroy this thing before it kills me. And I love you for it. It could be there. But it just seems like a cleaner fit with this college than the other.
I've built decks where I'm like, I've got to unbutton my own construction at some point or it'll kill me.
I love that.
Those are kind of funny
Black will
decks
do that too.
where you're like, I do need to have some removal in my deck so I can destroy my own shit.
Yeah. I just so the recursive nature of this, with the Archaeomancer, this Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch, we're looking to recur more than just move to the next cataloged version functional reprint of the last card that we shot. We're like, we actually value these spells for what they do. If it was good the first time, it's probably fucking crazy the second time. That's really the message here so far.
Can we hold on that for a second? Because maybe this is an element that you want to get to, but it feels like that's a really good point to maybe talk about the idea that timing seems to just be super important with high mana value stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why returning those spells back to your hand feels so good.
Yeah.
Because like that Aether Gale thing, the example we've been holding on, it's really good after a board wipes happened because now people can't reestablish themselves, right?
Right. And the stuff they have reestablished just gets jumped if you have the mind to do it.
But if it's the board wipe-ish kind of board wipe that happened before you resolved it again, that's makes it even better, right?
Yeah.
Like if you can be like, okay, I shot it, kind of like picked the board apart a little bit. Then I got out my like little twin thing and then my thing that returns it. And I go and I just keep cycling through this. It makes it even better. The timing for it becomes even better. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're kind of seeing like what I usually think about when we're talking about stuff like this. Then there's just like, it is a high mana value thing. And that should just kind of that matters.
Yeah.
That it's a high mana value thing. So there's a simple card. It's Blast of Genius, like 6 mana, choose any target, draw 3 cards, then discard a card. Blast of Genius deals damage equal to the discarded card's converted mana cost to that permanent or player. This doesn't belong in this low MV school. It's not. At first, it's not fucking worth it. Like 6 mana to draw 3 cards when we can do something similar with Brainstorm, and then you discard a card, so you're really only keeping 1. But if what you discard is something that can be recaptured with the Exalted Flamer, and this card goes to graveyard, or your Spine Rock Tyrant is out, this is going to go off twice. So you're looking at 6 cards, dealing however much damage of what you're discarding. The Archaeomancer is available to recapture. Like, you're starting to hook all this stuff together a little bit, where this starts to look more attractive than these lower MV things. But specifically, it cares about high MV.
Yeah.
You know, like you want to, or its other version, Volcanic Eruption. I mean, they were careful about this card. 7 mana, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Volcanic Vision. Volcanic Vision deals damage equal to its to that card's mana value to each creature your opponents control. And they're like, well, we can't have that happen again. Exile Volcanic Vision. Can you imagine if this didn't exile itself with what I've described here? How fucking annoying would that be? So I have 2 spells or something. It would be fucking awful. And I keep getting it back with this Exalted Flamer. You're like, we'll never hold on to a board ever again. Fuck off.
And then, to be fair to you, Volcanic Eruption was a card of discussion in the Discord this week quite a bit.
Was that the card?
I think people were there. Eruption was
something. Dude.
Eruption was a topic, for sure.
Volcanic Vision, guys. Volcanic Vision.
Also, can I pause you to ask a little question about the art there on Blast of Genius?
What's up?
I don't think I've ever noticed that Niv Mizzet's in the background of it.
Oh yeah, he's off on like peeking up over that building.
Yeah, I'm like, it's almost like he's like, lightning.
Yeah, like why is he there?
Like,
I heard he had like a really shitty relationship with Ralzarek. Like he fucking hated him a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, what do you think Niv Mizzet's thinking as he like looks at this
fucking smug upstart? I think is what he's thinking. I have no idea. Yeah,
he's like, I could just fucking burn him.
Or he's in. Yeah. Didn't you say one of the stories? He's just like somebody was trying to outsmart him or something, and he's just like, sure, but also I'm just a fucking dragon.
I'm a fucking dragon.
I'll just eat you and call it a day.
Yeah, like in the Return to Ravnica storyline, Jace tries a little mind magic to try and get into Niv Mizzet.
Idiot.
And of course Niv Mizzet fucking notices.
Yeah.
He's like,
what are you doing?
Duh.
I am the fire mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, idiot.
Yeah. His mind is such that he can lend it out to his whole company.
Right.
Like he's yeah. But stuff like this, right, where it's like it's explicitly referencing the mana value of something. Like Ill-Timed Explosion is another version of something similar. 2 blue and a red, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. When you do Ill-Timed Explosion deals X damage to each creature, where X is the greatest mana value among cards discarded this way. It's an incredible card.
That's a cool card.
Where you're able to filter through and burn everything off. There's ones that are more implicit in their nature, like the Palantir of Orthanc. 3 mana at the beginning of your end step, put an influence counter on the Palantir of Orthanc, and then scry 2. Target opponent may have you draw a card. If that player doesn't, you mill X cards, where X is the number of influence counters on the Palantir of Orthanc. Is it Palantir or Palantir? I don't remember. And that player loses life equal to the total mana value of those cards. So it wouldn't take Kyle very long to see what's going on with this deck.
It's true.
Where he's like, oh, this is going to fucking hurt if I have him mill. But also, I could just demonstrate to you that there's no point. That Exalted Flamer is out or something where you're going to be like, just take the fucking card. True. And the longer this goes, it really just reads scry 2, draw a card at your end step. So I've got my preordain, I suppose, in a way.
I built it.
It really, the longer it goes, the more influence counters are on it, and it really just gets more and more dangerous for somebody to take the life total.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this type of stuff, right? Chamil. It's crazy. 6 mana. Spells you control can't be countered. This is always a risk. Another blue player can really fuck you up. You're spending a lot of mana, and they come in here and smash the shit out of your bathroom that you spent all this money to set up. You just can't have that. But the last thing is, at the beginning of your end step, discover 5. So you really just kind of cascade into that 5 MV card.
Yeah.
This deck has this deck I think will look stronger in this action. Let's say it's a mana rock that's usually heavier handed or something, even if you're thinking about the low power outcomes of this. But its hits are, oh, cool, it's my Spine Rock Tyrant. They can't be countered.
Right.
And it gets cast in, and now I've got this thing going. Or, oh, cool, it's my double vision. Or my GF Cerberus. Something. Like it, bigger stuff. Big spell.
Big spell.
It can't be countered. Soulfire Eruption. I think this is kind of made for something like this. It's 6 red, red, red. So 9 mana. Choose any number of target creatures, planeswalkers, and or players. For each of them, exile the top card of your library. Then Soulfire Eruption deals damage equal to that converted mana cost of that permanent or player. You may play the exiled cards until the end of your next turn. This is wild. Wild. Okay, I chose Kyle. I chose Tiff. I chose Brad. I chose a creature for each of them. I'll choose myself even because I'm fucking crazy. And then you start revealing cards, and each one of these just gets hammered with the mana value of these spells. Like it's a crazy potential game ender, potential board wipe, potential self-destructive action that might take your ass out of the game because you didn't think and you got bad with your sports betting. I don't know. Like it's just it wants high MV spells, I think, because of what it does. Mnemonic Deluge, same mana cost, but with triple blue. Exile target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Copy that card 3 times. You may cast that, you may cast those copies without paying their mana cost. Exile Mnemonic Deluge. I just don't know if I would want to spend 9 mana to do 3 ponders.
True.
I would do 9 mana easily, dude. Easily for some of these spells. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
3 Brass's Bounties.
Oh,
Kyle will lose his shit.
God. Oh my God.
3 Brass's Bounties. Fucking insane. 3 Capital Punishments. We have to vote 3 fucking times for we all sack a creature or we discard fucking cards. Like you guys are just going to be like, oh my God, dude. Like these are game warping moments, just throwing these out as I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, the tools are there. I think you just kind of have to look a little bit and think about, okay, does the mana value really care here? Is there anything I can juice? Is it worth taking this turn off to add 2 damage to everything? Or is it worth taking this turn off to double the next thing should no removal happen?
Yeah.
And if they remove it, it's just the risk you run with running any deck. We cool so far with this?
Yeah. I'm into these tools, and some of these I'm like, oh, I hadn't even really thought about some of these in quite a while.
Yeah. Jin 2.0, I think he speaks right to this kind of play because of what he protects you against. He's 7 mana for a 5/5. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. Whenever an opponent casts an artifact or instant or sorcery spell, counter that spell. This ability triggers only once each turn. He kind of puts like an iron dome over what you're doing a little bit. Not an iron dome, but a dome. Hides you under the blankets a little bit.
True.
Where I'm less likely to get, like somebody would have to coordinate a double counter spell type situation to really stop what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And even still, I'm getting the twin.
Yeah.
So the copy comes off this thing. Like he lets you just kind of shove these spells through.
He's like, I'm making sure this happens.
Yeah. And he only does it once each turn. So he kind of doesn't really want to. I mean, you could do it around the table. There's a version of this where you're whatever, but like here it seems really, really strong and you're likely to have the mana to do it. I was like, okay, with all my Brass's Bounty mana that I got, let's throw a Jin Gataxias in there.
Dude, he's just metal as fuck.
I love this card too. He's just like holding this little cyber samurai sword. He was so cool. Or samurai helmet. Kabuto.
He's like in the rain, like it's a perfect scene, right?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Do we want to talk about some payoffs? I mean, I look at these as tools, but like payoffs.
Well,
maybe I should just merge these two.
There's
together.
a little bit of overlap, I think, but I
is.
do see where you're going in differentiating them, though.
Okay. So like one that could probably be a little both is Call Forth the Tempest. It's a pricey card. It's 8 mana, cascade, Call Forth the Tempest deals damage equal to each creature your opponents control, equal to the total mana value of other spells you've cast this turn.
So is it worth saying that?
Not worth it in the low MV card deck.
Totally.
IMO, not too much. Because
right.
it doesn't see itself. It's just equal to the number total of other spells you. So it doesn't do 7 no matter what.
Right.
8 no matter what. It kind of ignores itself.
Is it worth maybe calling attention to the fact that as you're getting into talking about these payoffs, that this is a huge differentiator between high mana value and low mana value in that like your high mana value Spellslinger payoffs oftentimes can just be the spells themselves.
Yeah.
Whereas
And you kind of have to bet on that.
In the low mana value range, it's going to be your gutter snipe over
Your
and over and over,
your
Talrands, whatever.
Mhm.
Just the repetition of doing those things, or maybe a storm card like Grape Shot that's just like, okay, I've been watching all of this happen.
They just look different. They're different play style, and it's kind of cool that you can go two directions. There's a version of this where I have 2 Spellslinger decks, and they play radically different, and that's great. Your roster is diversified. Your opponents have to think about what matters differently. A single counterspell is not so much of a problem for a low MV student versus a high MV student, when they're sitting across from somebody.
Yeah.
Cool, burn your first guardianship. Anyway, I'm going to keep going.
Like, here I go. Like,
they'll have to figure it out. Where here it's more obvious where they need to, hang on.
Yeah.
So
because it's like Call Forth the Tempest. You're right. Like, it is holy shit, dude.
Yeah,
but you spent 8 mana to fucking do it.
Yeah. And what you hit is your Archaeomancer, like among them. What you hit is your Spine Rock Tyrant. What you hit is your Double Vision off the Cascades. It pours lava all over everything and you move through. Like, you want just bigger outcomes, I think, if you're going to spend fucking 8 mana. I mean, Insurrection is the same cost.
True.
So I don't know, one that also jumps out to me is a good way to show the difference between the two is the Shark Typhoon. It's 5 and a blue. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's mana value. So like the shark be bigger if the spell be bigger. Metallurgic Summonings is similar, but it makes an artifact thing. These are
right.
There is this, you can cycle it to discard a card and draw a card and make the shark equal to whatever you put in next. They almost gave you that because they're like, God damn, this is a lot of mana for an effect like this. Let's just let's give it like a way to get rid of it. But this is, I think, just a better outcome for us in the high mana value school. It's a 5/5 flyer because I cast a 5 mana spell.
True.
It's a 8/8 because I cast the Call Forth the Tempest plus the other 2 things that it hit that are likely to be high mana value. So it can work in both decks. I just think
a card like this, though,
and they're better blockers. Like,
I was gonna say, a card like this is really good for the high mana value person that's trying to like find their way to that end point.
Yeah,
because it could be an end point itself, or you get some pretty decent blockers.
You get me.
Yeah.
Or the Erratic Cyclops, right? 3 and a red, trample for a 0/8. It has 8 fucking toughness, Kyle. That's the right number in my experience. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Erratic Cyclops gets X plus O until end of turn, where X is the spell's mana value.
Ooh.
And it has trample.
It does.
So it has trample.
Cards like this make me be like,
this is a pretty good.
Where can I find a spot for you?
Who the fuck runs a card like this?
Yeah.
Like, where else would you see something like that?
Also, I'm kind of obsessed with lately with the.
You'd have to do 8, like 8, 4 or 5, 6, 7. You have to do a lot to get this thing, and it's like you took turn 4 off when it could just be like the guy who gives you the treasure or the dude who lets you draw a card, or this is just, I don't know, And in the meantime, it's an okay blocker. I like this card.
Yeah, 0/8. I'm also kind of obsessed lately that the plural of Cyclops is Cyclopes.
Cyclopes?
Yeah.
And it's a Greek word, isn't it? Cyclops?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's just some effects like this. I think Rite of the Dragon Caller translates fine to us, where Talrand not so much, but getting a 5/5 flyer is probably around the altitude of what we're casting anyway.
Yeah.
So it starts to do, it's basically a Shark Typhoon.
Yeah.
Sunbird's Invocation. This is a incredible card for a deck like this. If you can hold it, if you don't get, like, a lot needs to happen. I know, listener, but like, holy shit. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is the spell's mana value. You may cast a spell with a mana value X or less from among the cards revealed this way. Without paying its mana cost with the rest of your bottom. It doesn't even have a limitation. It's just whenever. The longer you go with this, but with a low MV spell, I look at the top 3.
You're gonna whiff.
Ooh,
sometimes,
but also it's 7 mana for them. Their 7 mana is like, dude, that's a lot, man.
True.
Like, I should probably be winning over here with something like that.
True.
It just doesn't translate as well. Where here it's like hand wringing. What the hell is gonna get revealed off of this?
And there's a world where you can do the Sunbird's Invocation off of like a big mana geyser put it in, cast your big spell,
and just keep pushing
and then
spell
get another free
perfectly.
spell.
Yeah, Mana
Like-
Geyser is a huge tool for both
both of them.
both schools really can capitalize on Mana Geyser. This one is no different. Baneful Omen, what is it? 7 mana, right? At the beginning of your end step, you may reveal the top card of your library.
It
If
is
you
7.
do, each opponent loses life equal to that basically another MV, right? Like you reveal the card, everyone gets burned for that.
Yeah.
much. Even if you never cast the card, I guess.
Just the mere existence of them.
It starts doing the thing. They know what you're going to draw next, whether I don't know what your meta looks like, if that's a problem or not, but
and Rise
it's a
Ultron,
payoff. I haven't used that one for a long time, but it's there. I think it speaks to where we're headed if you're in black. Keen Duelist is another sort of version of this. It's one in a black for a 2/2 human wizard. At the beginning of your upkeep, you and target opponent each reveal the top card of your library. You each lose life equal to the mana value of the card revealed by the other player. You each put that card the revealed way. So, let's say Kyle's playing the low MV deck and I'm playing the high MV deck.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick him.
Like, here we go.
And odds are he's gonna hurt. He's gonna
True
hurt.
story.
I'm like, oh, it's Call Forth the Tempest. You lose 9 or you lose 8.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
shit.
You lose 8 and you reveal something lower,
like
3, maybe 4. It's just like, ow, dude. We both draw. Yeah, that's a cool one. I like
that.
Keen
Is a good
Duelist.
one.
Caustic Bronco, one in a black for a 2/2. Whenever Caustic Bronco attacks, reveal the top card of your library, and you put it into your hand. You lose life equal to that card's mana value if the Caustic Bronco isn't saddled. Otherwise, each opponent loses life equal to that. Loses that much life. It's saddle 3. Kind of okay. Early game, I guess. I could see this like going in I don't know. It's saddle 3, dude. Saddle 3. That's the tough thing. That one's a little tough. I don't know where to squeeze that one in, but
it's true because
your Marquesa deck that's super heavy on these big spells. I don't know. Yeah, but that's a lot of damage. Ninja Blades is similar, right? Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and is a ninja into its other types. Whenever the creature deals damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. That player loses life equal to the discarded card's mana value. It's like Eureka style things.
Oh, yeah.
Bit. Equipped is 2, cast is 3. Similar effects that care about mana value was what I was looking for. Dovescape is classic. Is pretty wild. 3 white, 3 with the hybrid white blue. Whenever a player casts or plays a non-creature spell, counter that spell. That player puts a X/1/1 white and blue bird creature tokens with flying into play, where X is the converted mana cost. I'm not sure about this. If your deck's built around
It's kind of a
this
pet card for people.
yeah, but it depends on what you're headed for. It's another thing where the bigger the spell, the more birds you get. This one's also pretty wild. I don't love this card, but every time we talk about high mana value decks of any kind, I think about it. It's Time Sifter.
Oh.
5 mana at the beginning of each player's upkeep. Each player removes the top card of his or her library from the game. The player who removed the card with the highest converted mana cost takes an extra turn after this one. If 2 or more players are tied for the highest cost, the tied players repeat this process until the tie is broken. So, yes.
This fucking card, dude.
It's fucking annoying. Because even if it doesn't work on my turn, we go to Kyle's turn. Kyle's turn plays out like normal. Then I win, and we go back to my turn. It's like crazy. Like, it's like crazy that it completely shakes up the turn order.
Yes.
It's a heady ass card.
I feel like you played this like once or twice, right?
Yeah, I don't love it.
It is an interesting card.
When you have the deck to support it, it's the place to go.
It's funny.
Yeah. Okay, well, he gets another fucking turn with his goddamn Sunbird's invocation. It's a form of protection in a way.
It really is.
Well, you guys are all scrambling to stop what I'm doing, of course. But if I keep kind of floating around picking up weird extra turns, because you're losing the cards, they leave. But
sure.
Dude, if I have it at such a density, you know?
I need to go back and explore OG Mirrodin. There's some like unusual cards, right?
Yeah, if it's lands, you have to repeat it. Like if everyone reveals a land, we go until we hit.
Yeah, like let's go.
It's I don't know. Time Sifter decks are wild. Mizzix's Mastery, this is another huge high MV payoff. Same as it kind of straddles both school, but overloading a Mizzix's Mastery with 4 or 5 of these things in your graveyard is pretty wild. You know, they go off again. They might be game-ending effects.
It could be.
Right? Like,
it could be.
I still think it's there for both schools. How are we feeling?
This is, I'm liking these, like, the distinctions you've made of, like, tools that we have in decks, things that were kind of like some of the basics, the veggies that are setting up this thing differently, and like these payoffs.
Yeah.
Really starting to kind of see this whole thing put together.
Should we talk about actual spells now that I think are they've been generally good for me?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you like to inhabit this school
lately.
Lately. Yeah.
Before we do that, I want to just lay something out that I think it'll stick out a little bit between these two, at least the way I'm presenting it. It is no secret to this podcast or my play group that I tend towards the control side of playing the game. I struggle to use say that I am a Spellslinger. Like some of these cards actually don't care about it being an instant or sorcery. Some of these things that we've already talked about, it's just like I care about the mana value of the card. So it could be a big ass creature or an artifact for your Baleful Omen or whatever. You know, the Time Sifter could just be like, you're a big Golgari deck with really big mana value creatures. You're likely to take extra turns. I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
But when we're talking instants and sorceries, I think I need to repeat the problem that they have is the persistence, the compounding. It's difficult or not likely that you can compound on what they do like you can with a creature, then an artifact, then an enchantment. You see? Yeah. So it's likely that Kyle and I will never do like a deep dive on creatures because like why? If we did, it would be something very specific, like this type of aggro thing, or Flying Winds Games starring Lenny Woolley. Like we're just not going to do it because it's obvious. It's just most of the game is hinged around that thing, the creature,
and especially since you have the persistent access to one always.
Yes, and you can hurl it around, block with it, give it lifelink, all the things that I laid out. So when you're hanging around sandbagging, for lack of a better characterization, and waiting for something for the air to smell right to shoot these spells, they got to be impactful. And drawing 6 cards, while great, isn't often enough.
Yeah,
because you don't really have the same problem that the other school or the other college is trying to solve, which is the velocity. You need the quality. So you either need to bring yourself up a great distance with the spell like this. So Mana Geyser is a great example. It's 5 mana. You're likely to get double-digit mana out of it.
Yeah.
Or you need to tear everybody down. You need to unwind what they've been doing. It's just a card advantage problem.
Yeah.
You have been waiting for a while to do something and you've been time walking yourself is a way to say it. So often and this is just how I see it. I could be wrong, but I think you get a lot of bang for your buck using things like Aether Gale, using things like Subterranean Tremors, where it just structural assault that just rips out all the artifacts and just collapses what people are doing.
Yeah.
You've destroyed or folded that card advantage up, and you make it start looking like a crazy air quote card. Like this is what people do with their decks. They'll name things card advantage, and I don't see card draw and card advantage as exactly the same thing. I think they're adjacent and they inform each other. But to me, card advantage is the overall balance of the checkbook. If I do a Subterranean Tremors and kill 4 of Brad's creatures, 3 of Tiff's artifacts, for 1 card.
Yeah, that is an advantage.
That is card advantage. People will put that under interaction, but that is advantage. I've taken 1 card and destroyed a bunch of other cards. They're not in their hand anymore. They're out where I can see them. I have functionally removed them from use.
Yeah, this is an area of the game where like I don't think we have very precise language.
I don't think we do either. Yeah,
because I think I get what people are getting at with that, right?
Yeah,
but you're right. I think what you just described is absolutely
card advantage.
Card advantage.
So this is how we get it with the higher mana value.
Yeah.
How a low mana value deck would get it is the form of Brainstorm and Ponder. Okay, well, I can't do anything about his Gilded Lotus, so I got to find air quote advantage somewhere else.
Yeah, I just got to get exposure
card advantage
to more.
and card draw are not the same thing to me. One informs the other. One is a component of the other, simply because it's the hand size that is part of the card advantage consideration to me. But the board is it's fucked up. It's really fucked up to take people's stuff away, because not only has it been stinking up their hand that they bothered to resolve it and then you took it away. And if the mana to card ratio is good, dude, Blasphemous Act is one hell of a goddamn card. If that's, and so that's why I think people compulsively pick Blasphemous Act. Oh, it's just good. And it's like, it's good because of that exact thing. I pay 1 red in most cases to tear down 13 or more cards. Cardboard is now not around. It's huge. It's huge. Huge.
Can I
huge damn you.
And I'm confident you have more to add here, but about this, but
it's just a warning I'm trying to give as we move into the actual cards that you're going to see removal, I think, a lot on
but if I can
side.
validate this a little bit, one, I think you're right. Like, there is maybe just a tilt of like Andy's preference.
Yeah.
But to be validating as well, I think this is true of any deck that plays a high mana value at the high mana value end of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
There's a moment in almost every game where you don't have very much in play, but your opponents do. And that's always a good day for an airstrike.
Exactly. It's a great day for an airstrike.
Like,
yeah,
I do this with my.
Probably shouldn't use that phrase.
Oh,
anymore.
that's probably not not a good time for that.
Whatever.
Right?
Yeah, you'll
It's
never have a good time on this planet to use that phrase anymore.
I guess that's true. My Mardu kind of like group slug deck is pretty high mana value, and it's almost always good to. I have 2 categories. It's either I get a death touch blocker out,
to keep yourself alive,
or I cast a board wipe
to keep yourself alive.
One of those 2 things is going to happen in my turn 3 to 5 range.
Mm-hmm.
One of those 2 things in my decks. And I think that's because there's always a good space with these high mana value decks where the board presence is pitched.
Yes.
And so it makes sense.
There.
I just want to be validating.
But with General Marhal, you're like, I don't really know. Blasphemous Act is really just like there because
it's a backup plan in case somebody's dealt with me
above you. Where you're like, well, clearly I'm going to lose less here. This sucks, but I'll do it.
Yes, that is a very different scenario.
Very different.
But
so you can't always rely on your own board state. No matter how aggro you think you are, you never know.
This is very true.
Sometimes you're like, fuck. And, there's one-sided ones. Like we went over a ton of them with Voltron. The Voltron decks we talked about, like, I was like, these are huge. These shaped explosives are wildly powerful.
Yeah.
Where you keep one creature that's the best of the rest.
But to your card advantage,
collapse the others.
To your card advantage talking point, in a high mana value deck, a generalized board wipe is kind of a shaped explosive.
Yeah.
You're shaping the card content of people's hands. You put your stuff on the battlefield. I put it in the graveyard. So you have fewer cards in hand. I still have cards in hand.
Yeah. Perfectly said. So I just wanted to put that down. Like,
I think that's worth noting.
We're going to talk about removal.
It's worth noting.
This whole series might just not be of interest to some players. Like, they're just like rolling their eyes because they like to do the snowball-y, aggro-y type game plan. And I don't want to factionalize the Magic environment. Like, I'm not of mid-range faction, tempo faction.
Sure.
Control aggro faction. I just tend towards it. And I've said on a lot of occasions where it's just because my meta tends to want to go ship in the night mid-range to aggro is where it tends to want to go. Brad is not interested in playing like this. This is not his thing. He's very, very strong player at being a problem. He benefits. He sees cards in a way that I don't see it. I can't see it. I don't know how he does it. This has been the way since we first started playing the game. I will never forget the first time we sat down to play against each other with the decks that we made, and he just fucking rolled me with his mono green deck, like that fucking Baloth that's like a 3/5 for 3 green. I was just like, what the hell is this? And I just am getting rolled. Eventually I figured myself out and I got up to his speed and I used, okay, let me unsummon that shit. Let me vapor snag that shit. And he got annoyed. And it was when it starts, I want the game to be this diverse.
Yeah.
I want there to be a combo deck and an aggro deck and a control styled deck and mid-rangey or whatever, right? I think they all should exist and run into each other and use their advantage against each other. I'm not advocating for a specific style of play.
Sure.
I'm just talking about when you're over here, this in my view is more likely going to be the style of play you will need to adopt.
There's opportunities as well.
Yeah. You're never going to get your 3/5 Baloth for whatever the fuck that was. I think it was 2 mana. It was fucking crazy, dude. In a deck like this.
Yeah.
Instead, you're just going to be like, okay, I'm going to have to board wipe or something. But if your meta is just not set up for this, it might not even help you. If you're in a meta, let's think about a different meta that some people just can't wrap their head around, where it's high on stack interaction. There's every goddamn version of every free counterspell ever. We're looking at like higher bracketed play. This deck's going to be tough, if not unplayable, because you try to do your thing and some joker will just stop it. So it's similar.
Yeah.
It's similar. Let's first, rather than just continuing to focus on removal for a second, let's break our ankles and change direction. Let's just talk about draw, right? We need to draw cards just like the other college, but it starts to look different for us. Something like Memory Deluge is of interest to us instead of like a Brainstorm, Ponder, Preordain, those cousins. It's 4 mana. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast this spell. Put 2 of them into your hand and the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order. As we start talking about card draw and cards like this, I want the listener to think about, what are you likely to hit? In a low mana value college, you're likely just to hit other iterations or functional reprints of what you probably just shot.
Yeah.
Where here, the variety could be all over the place. You could hit your other version of Memory Deluge, which is like drawn from dreams, or you could hit your, some of the spells we've already talked about, right? Oh, there's that Erratic Cyclops, or there's finally my Mizzix's Mastery, or things like that. So the quality of your draw should match the quality of your cards. This speaks almost directly to that. By the way, it has a flashback of 7, where you're able to look at the top 7 cards of your library and get the best 2 of the next 7. And it's an instant, so you could wait until, like, let's say you have a front-footed hand where you've got a lot of instants, that Sublime Epiphany, things like that are on the ready, and you can just react and do this at the time that's better for you rather than just doing it on your turn. So
the story in this art is disturbing.
What is going on with it? Oh, this is like biblical almost. What the hell is this? Let's move on.
It looks like one of the kids got turned into a vampire.
It's kind of freaking me out. And their eyeballs are like floating in their heads. Like this kind of reminds me of the text of, like, I don't know if you ever played Oblivion. Did you become a vampire in Oblivion?
Oh, so I did start to play through when it had its remastery come out.
Yeah.
I need to try a different build. I wasn't enjoying what I was doing.
Oblivion or Morrowind, but when you become a vampire, you start having like these vampiric dreams.
Oh.
It could be Morrowind or the two. I get those two crossed, like some of my memory fragments are like crossed between those.
Yeah.
But they're dark and fucking not cool dreams that you wake up from if and when you sleep as a vampire in that game.
It is kind of fun to like, yeah, okay.
Drawn from dreams, since we brought it up, 2 blue. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, put 2 of them in your hand, the rest in the bottom random order. So it's basically just like a different Memory Deluge effect that's similar. So the draw starts looking more like this: the Pirate's Pillage, the big score, the deep, the deep analysis that can be flashed back, right? Another one is Ashling's Command. It's 3 mana, 3 blue, and a red. Create a token that's a copy of target elemental you control. I don't know if that'll be relevant. Target player draws 2 cards. Ashling's Command deals 2 damage to each creature target player controls, or target player creates 2 treasure tokens. So like this is it could be a big score. It could be a deal 2 to everything and a big score. It could be, or a draw 2. Like it's a good card, man. It's an instant. Hypothesizal, 3 mana. Draw 2, then you may discard a card. When you do, Hypothesizal deals 4 damage to target creature. This is an instant also. More creepy ass
Right.
art. Prophetic Bolt we mentioned. Structural Assault we mentioned. So like we're moving closer and closer to the removal type stuff. Zat's Will is a really incredible high mana value instant. 5 mana, choose one. If you control your commander as you cast a spell, you can choose both. Each opponent sacrifices a creature they control with the greatest power, and then exile all your opponent's graveyards, and then you make as many throws equal to the greatest power among those creatures that you nuked. So you now have a board presence, more blocking ability. You want to start thinking like this when you're even talking about removal. A Braid could be good here in a deck like this, but a control style high MV deck is more interested in cards like Structural Assault that just hit it all.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on where you're getting your mana also, I would warn, dear listener, like if you're going to be more vulnerable to a card like this, it might not be worth it to you. Structural Assault is the 5 mana, destroy all artifacts, then Structural Assault deals damage to each creature equal to the number of artifacts that were put into the graveyard from the battlefield this turn. It's an incredible deck against treasures because it sees what they've done with the treasure. Like if they try to backflip out of it, it's still going to just do the damage.
Still counts them.
To clear their board. They're going to lose the mana anyway. These are the kind of cards we're thinking about. Reckless Endeavor is a very famous high mana value spell, at least around here. 7 mana, roll 2 d12s, choose one result. It will deal damage equal to that result to each creature, and then make you that many treasures equal to the other result. So this is almost a shaped explosive. You could get like, I roll a 1 and a 12. The board wipe needs to happen. I'll just take the treasure as a afterthought, or I think I'm actually going to be able to do way more dark work with the 12 goddamn treasures I just made myself and shoot my other board wipe or whatever the fuck,
Yes.
So follow up with an All Is Dust and melt it all goddamn down. Like, I don't know, which All Is Dust is another valuable tool for cards like this. Like, you're very likely not to be hurt as much by it compared to everybody else. Everybody sacrifices colored permanents for 7 to colorless. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Sacrifice. Like, they either phase out or it's gone.
Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's gone. These are the cards. Lately, I'm also looking at things that actually are kind of little bifurcated in their function. So there's a clutch of cards that came out in Strixhaven: Magma Opus, Elemental Masterpiece, Creative Outburst. They all do different things, but what they all have in common is that you can do the hybrid red-blue to discard the card to make a treasure token.
Okay.
Don't get greedy with this. Like, if you draw it early game, my suggestion is just discard it and have a robust graveyard package to make it not hurt to do it. Just ditch it and get the treasure.
And also the treasure is one step towards another spell, right?
You're exactly right. It's unlikely, because the Magma Opus is 8 fucking mana.
Yeah.
It's an incredible tempo control-y type card when you cast it, especially if the timing's right.
Yeah.
But it does also gives that extra flexibility of, you could call it a ramp card.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just going to ditch it to get a treasure. The Magma Opus deals 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. You can tap 2 permanents and you create a 4/4 red and blue elemental creature token, and then you draw 2 cards. Like, there's a lot happening in this fucking card, dude. It's
absolutely,
it's a cool card for this area. Elemental Masterpiece. Yeah, it's 7 mana to make 2 4/4s. So it's 7 mana to create 8 power. Not bad, I suppose. They don't have any kind of evasion or anything like that, but you can also just ditch the damn thing.
True.
It's like look at this one. You're more likely just to be like, just give me the fucking treasure. And it's an activated ability. You just do it right before your turn begins. Like, whatever mana you had.
Yeah.
Creative Outburst is an instant. 3 blue, red. God, dude, this is like casting Niv Mizzet almost. It deals 5 damage to any target. You look at the top 5 cards of your library. You put one of them into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. But it also has this, just ditch it if it ain't time. I really like these spells, actually. Like,
these are ones I hadn't really considered. I mean,
think of them like MDFCs.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, which I actually have a hard time. I have a hard time integrating the value of cards like that, because I think cycling cards are another one that they're actually pretty great to utilize, but I just have a hard time bringing myself to them, because the decision making is hard of like, well, am I going to need the big spell later?
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you can create a philosophy around,
it's like watching new players deal with the draw a card, discard a card.
Yeah.
They just languish over it. Like I've been watching Zach try to get through so he'll have these draw a card, discard a cards, and it takes him forever. And the newer or older and more jaded players just like they get right through it. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah,
like they really don't care so much.
And they probably have a philosophy around how to handle those situations, right?
Yeah, mine is highest mana value card,
right?
Usually.
Right.
If it ain't gonna be next turn, I'm just ditching it. Usually.
Yeah.
Brad Emdick, yeah, dude, he plays those as lands more than ever. It's just like his policy is when you draw it,
it's a land.
It's a land. He doesn't even turn them around. They stay lands in his sleeve.
Oh, interesting.
That's his thing.
Interesting.
It's a land first in his mind. Like he just doesn't sit there and languish about it. It's his attitude.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about Aether Gale ad nauseum. Baral's expertise is a great imitation of this. This is like our version of the Rishkar's expertise. Oh. Baral's expertise, 5 blue. Return up to 3 target artifacts and or creatures to their owner's hands. Then you may cast a mana value 4 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. This is a good card. Especially if Archaeomancer is involved. This is really annoying if Archaeomancer is involved, because really you just Baral's expertise and that 4 mana value card is a dancer. How annoy that be? Should we look at some more? Are you starting to get kind of like picture a little bit with these?
I'm seeing what you're putting down here.
Let's go even higher, and I don't know. Windgrace's Judgment? Did I talk about this one?
Oh no.
This is like a control player's like dream card in a lot of cases because it is an instant. Like it's just better fitted for this style of play than the others. It's 5 mana, 3 a green and 3 a black and a green. For any number of opponents, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. So it's the 3 best permanents from each of your opponents. Just goodbye.
Yeah. That
crazy artifact that people love from Lorwyn that gives all of their typal creatures all of the static abilities. No, get out. At instant.
Yeah, it's instant.
It's a better thing, I think, here than it would be over in the other college. Capital Punishment I mentioned earlier. Man, the rate on this thing, I'm never disappointed to shoot this spell. It's 6 mana, Council's Dilemma. Remember, guys, that the dilemma is that we do it all. It's not whatever gets the biggest vote.
Right.
So starting with you, each player votes for death or taxes. Each opponent sacrifices a creature for each death vote and discards a card for each tax vote. This is pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. If I vote death, if there's only one creature on board, let's just say that. So let's create, I don't usually do this, but let's just create the most toxic example of how to do this. If there's only one creature out and I pay 6 mana, I'll just vote tax.
Yeah, because somebody else is going to.
Yeah, I'll vote tax.
Yeah.
If I vote death, then you guys will just go death, and it just doesn't do anything. So
Right.
I'll be like tax.
Right.
And then if you go to your turn, you're like, ugh, I really want to keep that fucking card. Tax also. Now you guys are discarding up to 2 for 6. Then we go to Brad's turn, and let's say he's just like, it gets to the point where you guys are just like, what's best for me kind of thing? Because by now, Brad's losing 2 cards in his hand. Does he want to lose his
it's like,
third?
do you go ahead and lose a creature and the discard too? Or what?
Or do you just go, well, fuck you, I'm not discarding my 3rd card? And does he vote like now death?
Yeah.
And then we get to Chris, and Chris is like, well, I've already lost the creature I really want. It's pretty fucking wild. Like the more creatures on board, the harder it is to read on what's going to happen.
True.
But is it an incredible card? No, it's just I think for the mana, what it does, you can't be mad. If they all vote for what they do, I just vote what I think is likely the thing that you're not going to vote for. If there's only one creature, weirdly, I just do tax.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's 6 mana for me to destroy 9 cards out of you. If you guys, these 3 really must stay, you're like, we're not doing this. I got rid of 9 cards.
That's a lot. It's a
9
lot.
cards. Or not 9. It's 4 votes. Never mind.
There's 4 votes. So
it's a discard your hand. Eventually someone's going to have to vote death. You will have nothing to follow up with. They better be the banger fucking cards. Yeah, you're right. Because mine's part of it. I always think it's the opponent's votes, but no.
Also, this card just like, it's kind of cool. The banner with Marques's like black rose on it.
When are we going back to that plane, man? Such a cool setting. This is a card, Kyle loves. These next two, he adores these two. Worst Fears, 8 mana. You control target player during their next turn. Exile Worst Fears. You just hijack their turn. It's pretty rare to not take someone's turn and totally mangle their game plan. Like it is so wild. It's bad.
I'm not as good at it
bad
as I think. I'm not as good as you at taking other people's turns.
It's getting harder, actually, I think, these days. Like, it's not so obvious, like, what I should be doing inside your skin these days.
Yeah.
But a blue player is a really good target for something like this because you're either going to drain their counterspell, and if they're holding it, you're going to drain it anyway, you know? And a black player is a very good person to target
Black
with this
players are really good to take.
because they are likely to have a lot of pay life sacrifice kind of stuff, so you could just mangle their game plan. Green players, it's probably like destroying their own mana rocks if they have them. I don't know. Like taking someone else's turn is a heady thing to do. Mercifully, this thing exiles itself. But if this thing gets twinned by some of the stuff that we've talked about, GF Cerberus into Worst Fears, I'm taking the whole turn cycle. And I will completely... Can you imagine me getting this 3 times? Either I
because
take Kyle's...
some of the taking turns gives the person a turn, but this one does not.
This one does not. It's it's Kyle's Worst Fears.
It is, actually.
Yeah. We should really just name it Kyle's Worst Fears.
I have done one where I think with you, where if I recall, I think it was you, I just left you with a handful of land.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because you had a bunch of cards, but I'm just like...
Remember back in the old days when I took AP's turn and I used his Vampiric Tutor to tutor, like, a land? You know, like, it's just... It's fucked.
Those situations are kind of funny where you're just like, well, I'm going to use this card in a way that you absolutely would not use it.
You know what? I actually do remember you pulling one off with Emrakul. And you made a deal with the person whose turn because it does give him an extra one.
Oh, that's right.
Where you're like, I'm just going to use your turn to fucking stomp on, I think it was Tiff or something, because she was just out of fucking control.
That's true.
With Miriam.
I did set someone else up.
So it really was just giving them an extra turn where you're like, but here's what I don't want to, you know, it kind of worked out.
I think I did that with Brad. Where we worked out, like,
happening.
I'm like, I was looking at his hand. I'm like, I can't fuck you. And if I try to fuck you, you're going to crack me back because you do get a turn. So what if?
Let's just dunk on somebody.
Yeah.
Skullstorm is another one that's really good. This is my experience speaking. This is the Smasher deck, guys, right? That's talking through these like last two. But like Skullstorm is 8 mana. When you cast this spell, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. So this works very well with partners, candidly, because you just at least have cast your commander probably twice.
Yeah.
So you're getting 3 Skullstorms, the one you cast, and it's 2 copies. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Each opponent who can't loses half their life, rounded up. Why I like this is that if you are playing the control game plan, emptying the board state is of high interest to you. It is likely they won't be in a position to handle the first part of this, the sacking of the creature. They won't have many left, possibly somebody, maybe none, where they really are just going to lose a life. Multiple times, and it rounds up. So there's a version of this where they die instead of, and I have 1 life because of the rounding language on here.
This is a good card, I think, to point out where you need to assess your group and how you have constructed the deck otherwise.
Deck. Yes, I would say the opposite of this is Insurrection.
Yes.
That one doesn't, if we're at the same location, one is not that good and the other is fucking insane.
Right.
So,
because this
I don't know what your deck looks like, I guess.
This card is notorious in this group to the point where I actually find myself sometimes defending Andy with this, like, about this card, because people start getting an itch where they're like, oh, Skullstorm's coming up. And I'm like, but Andy hasn't cast a board wipe. And
why would he do it?
And that is the best time to do a Skullstorm
on
is
empty
post board wipe.
Yeah.
And so.
Right. Because it'll hit 3 creatures that are of value and then maybe some life.
Right.
But if there's a stack of creatures, it's like, dude, this is a shitty edict.
Yeah, you don't want to use the Skullstorm in that circumstance. You want to end life totals. And so assess the space you're using it.
Yeah,
this is a good example.
Good advice. Yeah, good advice. So that's another idea. I mean, it's 9 mana. It's a heavy spell.
Andy's won with this game many times. Or won with this card many times. But circumstances.
Yeah. Brad's feedback on that deck has been there's too much removal in it. And when I went and looked at it, he was not wrong. It was very heavy. I wound that back a little bit, but there was an insurrection. I wasn't using it. I'm like, I don't know. This doesn't really do a lot for me. Twinning it doesn't do a lot for me. Yeah, so you got to think about that too. Some of these things don't make sense to twin. Like twinning all is dust is. I guess if you really needed to go through, that's the protection there. Where it's like, okay, well, I copied it, so fuck off. So yeah. But double skull storms, or you're getting like 4 copies of these things.
Hell yeah.
3 from this cast, the extra one. Like these are crazier.
Yeah.
Just some ideas. Green has its ramp. Like it's go find a land. It gets fucking wild the higher you go up with these spells. There's one that's just like, hey, how many lands do you have? Double them, baby. Like you get.
I've used that one.
You get pretty wild.
I've fucking used that one.
Like you get pretty wild. There's one's like, hey, grab a bunch of lands and some health if you like. Like there's some crazy. Those are, I think, where green really starts to shine. Green's like asymmetry of, and then this is to speak nothing of the big ass X spells. The original big spell, the big exsanguinate, big
OG
big Jai's
for sure.
immolating inferno. Like those are the original OG game ending things. And it's like,
I mean, Comet Storm was like a one way back in the day.
Yeah, right. You're kind of permissioned to use these. You're Mr. Big Spell.
That's where we're going, baby.
Right. Should we talk about commanders?
Yeah.
I think this is where things start to like get a little complicated. Not complicated, I guess, but you got to think about them. I don't know. So I haven't really thought a lot about how to organize these because it starts to get. Let's just go through them. I think there's some that they really like the big mana event that is that spell. Then I think there's ones that facilitate getting you there. You get me?
Yes.
I don't know if there's a lot in between. Maybe we can categorize them together to see where we would go. Let's just talk very simply to start with some of these commanders. Guys that are just mana in the zone. They're part of a huge. They're part of this big component that you need to be considering all along, which is how am I going to do this? How am I going to get these spells on the stack in a timely manner, and eventually, like hopefully, more than one. Like 2 in a row is where I'm headed. That would be really cool if I could do this 2 in a row. So you could think of this simply, like I said, Ruby. Like she's just like, hey, I'm a mana dork in the zone. Can we fit the deck at a high mana value range around 4 and higher, 4 to 5, 4 to 6, somewhere like that? Use those green spells that grab 2. She falls off. We don't really care about her. They're strong. These are stronger commanders, I think. I think they're kind of on the rise, the mana dork in the zone. If you start treating them like soul rings or something like that, you always have access to them. Why Soul Ring is just a scary card is in the early game, it's scary. It's far and away a really powerful play to start a game with a Soul Ring in your opening hand. If you have something just analogous to that.
True.
So something like Cormella Glamour Thief. She's 4 mana for haste, 2/4. You can pay 1, tap, and add Grixis to your mana pool. Spend this to only cast instants or sorceries.
Yeah.
And what's wild about her is if she dies, she just brings something from your graveyard back into your hand.
True.
I have this as a commander. It's a form of big mana value spell deck, which we've talked about in this podcast. It's Dance Macabre.
Yeah.
Which is a 5 mana spell. It's a Spellslinger deck.
Yeah.
And a Flicker deck. And it's a lot of things, but she fits the bill.
Sure.
She solves the problem of the mana, and she is the other thing that's recursive. She tackles a lot there. I have another deck that it's not explicitly Spellslinger because I didn't want it to be that way. I was like, I want to do bigger green creatures, but Troyan Gutsy Explorer starts to look pretty fucking crazy if we're just sticking to these colors. 1 a blue and a green and a blue for a 1/3. Vidalcan Scout. You can tap and add green blue. Spend this mana to only cast spells with mana value X or higher, or spells just with X in their mana cost. It's like I want bigspell.com. That's what this is. And then if you got nothing better to do, you can tap blue and tap it to draw a card, then discard a card. This is a Soul Ring that you always have access to. Your Ricksmithies is another one. In a deck that's looking to bounce everything, that was the big strength of that deck, is that it was a land most of the time and let you jump into these other mana value spells. The other piece of getting him woken up was, I guess, just a side distraction, I think, in the end of like, I want to win with the 12 damage, you know? But there's a version of this where it's like, it's just big Simic spells, but with these two.
And that's setting aside the combos that exist with Eryximethys, right? Like,
true.
Because you're right. Like, just that burst of mana is fucking awesome.
Yeah. The one I've been messing with lately, Ashling Rekindled.
Yeah.
1 in a red. Whenever this creature enters, transforms into Ashling Rekindled, you can discard a card. If you do, draw a card. At the beginning of your first main phase, you can pay blue. If you do, transform Ashling. So then it flips into Ashling Rhymebound. Whenever this creature transforms into Ashling Rhymebound, and at the beginning of your first main phase, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana to cast only spells of mana value this college 4 or greater. It's like the starting, like she's like the fucking McGonagall of this thing.
Like here we go.
Yeah, like so really strong to have this in your command zone when you're really focusing on this type of thing. You have in a roundabout way. It is restrictive. It's almost like, hey, well, I won't even give you mana for anything else. It's got to be 4 or greater. Like,
True.
Don't even bother me.
True.
Belby. I think if you set the deck right up, you're picking up many a Soul Ring. Kaza Royal Chaser. I think this is another good example of like, okay, well, if I'm going to cast the Instance of Sorceries after I've resolved all these goddamn wizards, it better be good Instance of Sorceries. I'm not super interested in doing small stuff, right? 1 a red and 1 a blue and a red for a 1/2 human wizard, flying haste, tap. The next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn to cost X less to cast, where X is the number of wizards you control as the ability resolves. I just don't know why you'd waste your time with lower MV results when you're like, I'm going to get double big spell with all the wizards. I'm going to clone more wizards or something. You see?
Yeah.
This is kind of what I'm thinking about with this. Another one that was kind of infamous around here, Galazeth Prismari. 2 a blue and a red for a 3/4 Elder Dragon. It's flying. When Galazeth Prismari enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Artifacts you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Spend this only to cast instance or sorcery spells. This was a crazy commander because of just that cost reduction. It was almost worse because even when this thing's not online, you're making treasures, you can just use those. Like it was just really crazy.
Yeah.
And you're able to jam multiples of these high quality spells into a single turn. And this is just
which is crazy.
Nuts. Vivi, Mizzix, we already talked about these. They help you with this type of thing in their own way. Yeah, right? Do you see?
Yeah, the mana thing seems like a really operative issue in these high mana value decks, right?
Yeah.
Like you have a hump to get over, and you can't guarantee that hump is surmountable with an opening hand, right? Like in the low mana value school, you can be like, I've got 3 lands,
dude,
and I've got some
out of the shittiest
I've got some cantrips,
yeah,
and I'm good to go.
Right.
But if you're like, well, I want to get to the point where I can cast an 8 mana value spell, you can't guarantee that with your opening hand.
Yes.
It's likely with your construction you'll get there, but you can't guarantee it. And so having that help from the zone
is huge.
Feels pretty awesome.
Yeah, Eluge the Shoreless Sea. 1 blue, blue, blue. It's star. Its power is equal to the number of islands you control. Whenever it enters or attacks, you put a flood counter on a land. It's an island in addition to its other types. The first instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn costs less blue, less colorless or generic for each land you control flood counters on it. The longer the game goes, the less you're paying for blue spells, to the point where you're not paying for blue spells. I think at some point you're going to want, I think there's a version of this where it's like, okay, I have a bunch of little ways to make him evasive, and the rest is like, big spell. You don't need to wait for it to be free. If I bring the Aether Gale down to 2 mana, that's
awesome.
Pretty wild, dude. Or in the example you give, Capsize.
Yeah.
It's each turn.
Yeah.
Capsize eventually costs nothing. That's something that Mizzix couldn't even do eventually. If you get enough of these floody counters and proliferated, well, I guess proliferate doesn't work because
it's on the same land.
Yeah. Anyway, Joda Archmage Eternal is similar, right? He's that Jeskai, 1 blue, red, and a white for a 4/3. Flying, you may pay just 1 of every color rather than pay the cost of mana spells you cast. So everything is either reduced, all your 6s are reduced by 1, 7 by 2s, 8 by
Mm-hmm.
They can, yeah, it gets pretty fucking wild. Like, yeah. The big thing with him is trying to get to that 10th mana, I guess.
Yeah, you've had that where you're like,
so you can get two of the bangers.
Get to where I can do 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So these are here for this type of thing, I do believe. One more that I'm thinking about. Yurlok of the Scorch Thrash, 1, a black, a red, and a green for a 4/4 Vaishino Shaman with Vigilance. A player losing unspent mana causes that player to lose that much life. So if you go and look at the EDH rec page, people are really hung up on this whole thing about mana burn. You know,
they're building group slug decks,
right? They're
sure.
just like boomer magic. They want that whole thing because it just reintroduces something that was, I guess, present in the game back then. But it also lets you tap and add. Each player adds black, red, green to your pool. That's a soul ring, I guess. You pay 1 to get 3 out.
Yeah.
If you have ways to untap this every turn, which you would in green, that starts to look pretty crazy with some of this stuff that we've talked about, I think. Like, he shortens that distance to getting to these higher things. The instants are especially good.
Become juicy.
In the middle of combat, people won't have a lot of ways to mana sink. So this starts looking like a gutter snipe also.
True.
That you have always.
True.
We have not been very lucky with this commander. Brad played it for a while, and me and Kyle always have Beast Within or something in our hand.
How did that happen?
It does have this consequence of it brings things out of people's hands because they're weirdly not wanting to take the 3 damage.
The shitty thing about like the Chaos Warp or the Beast Within is you just paid for it.
You just paid for it, exactly. You're exactly right. Yeah.
I'm like, thanks, go away.
But thinking about the meta, you know, I think this guy would actually probably rip these days because not often are people.
So when Chris has played it, I actually haven't had as much mana to sink this, or places to sink this mana into.
Because we're less control-y lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I love this guy as like a Spellslinger elemental shaman motherfucker, I think is how I think of this, where you're like, hey, what are win Grace's judgment, that type of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Plus he's a really competent blocker. I don't know.
4/4 with Vigilance is pretty good.
It's not nothing.
Pretty good.
It's not everything, but it's not nothing. So he helps this along a little bit. Then I think there's just, you know, they want to see the big spells being cast. Oh, well, there's one more that's kind of wild too. Melik, Detective Melik. He's kind of weird. Melik Reforged Researcher, 3, a blue and a red. It's a star. The Melik Reforged Researcher's power and toughness are each equal to twice the number of instant or sorcery spells in your graveyard. The first instant or sorcery spell you cast each turn costs 3 less to cast. This one's a rough one because I think you're like, damn, I could get this thing fucking huge fast if I just self-mill.
Yeah.
Things like that. Do it. Definitely do it. It's going to get fast quick or get big quick. But there's also this other thing where it's like, if you look at some of the counter magic that exists that's in the 5 MV range, the payoffs are wild and they're like almost worth it if the timing's right for the 5 mana, and they are gnarly if you're only paying blue. So something like Spell Swindle, you're like up on mana, dude. Like if I Spell Swindle anything, I'm usually going like, do I get 5 treasures out of this or not? Where here it's like, do I get 2 treasures out of this? Probably very likely.
Yeah.
With this guy. Because he's just like, hey, well, currently your cost is reduced by 3. Access denied, you just get a pump of Thopters.
Oh, yeah.
That Sublime Epiphany is like, dude, I'm only paying, 3 mana for some of this stuff or whatever. Like, that's how I see this dude, is like, he's kind of makes these other heavy-handed instants and sorceries way more attractive. Yeah. Especially instants, because they're not as much. He does a good imitation of what Mizzix does, but not at the insanity. And then, Chandra's Ignition and its cousins are there. For sure. The real thing that sucks about this guy is that if the yard is handled, he goes with it. So like they have 2 ways to actually,
like, goodbye.
One bog will kill him. I don't want to say this, but I really wish he just at least had 1 toughness on his own. Which isn't an uncommon element of design. I know. They've done that for some of the goifs and things like that. Yeah. It's not crazy, right? Or the weird vampire where it's like, well, it always has 3.
Yeah.
Even if he was a 0/1, it'd still be like fuck. But
Yeah.
they hate Melik. They like to fuck Melik over. Like the other one, right? Melik was just like, hey, the top card of your library, when you cast it, you twin it. And you can cast it. That's probably belongs here too. It's old school commander. God bless you if you run him, but like it's 6 mana to get that rolling. But if he belongs anywhere, it's here. I don't want to be top decking some non-card. It's probably the one time you do want brainstorm.
You know what though? But story-wise, Melik did kind of get fucked, right?
Yeah.
Because Niv Mizzet like made Melik to be the maze runner, and Ralzarek like, fuck that. I want to run the fucking maze.
I'm going to download him into my arm or whatever happened. New one that's spoilery. There's 2. Actually, I'm not going to bring it up. I'm going to leave it on this list. There's 2 that they spoiled for this next set, but I'm not going to do that.
All right.
Some other kind of weird things that like they care about big spells. We talked about Vial Smasher already. The big spell. Lord of Pain, I think, wants big spells. Although there probably could be a Rakdos version of the Lord of Pain where you're off turn casting something every turn, where it is low MV. You're like, okay, I'm going to do my Rakdos Charm on this turn. I'm going to do my Kulligan's Command on that turn. Like where you're kind of injecting that damage on every turn, kind of like Smasher.
Yeah.
A little bit. And then you maybe want to do Karark, so it just comes back to your fucking hand. You're really just there for the trigger, not so much for the effect, I guess. That might be something. Jin Gitaxias, number 3. This is, I wouldn't put this in the command zone, but I'm just going to bring it up. It's 3, a blue and a blue for a 5/5 Phyrexian Praetor. It's got ward 2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, draw a card. So it'll do its best imitation of some of the things that we saw in the low college. But then you can transform this fucking thing. You can pay 4, exile Jin Gitaxias, return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control, activate only as a sorcery, and only if you have 7 or more cards in hand. So super conditional, but I don't think it's that crazy to do this, especially when you're casting it from the zone. Chapter 1, draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size for as long as you control the Great Synthesis. Chapter 2, return all non-Phyrexian creatures.
Which, by the way, you had to flip it with 7 in hand at least, right?
You're correct, yeah. So it'll meet that. Then return all non-land Phyrexian creatures to their owner's hands. And then chapter 3 is you're basically omniscient, right? You may cast any number of spells from your hand without paying their mana cost, exile the Great Synthesis, and return it to the battlefield, which it comes right back in as Jin. You will not need to spend mana on spells this turn, so if you want, you could just transform him right back into the Great Synthesis, draw equal to your hand size again, and for that entire turn, that first act is like, it's cracked. It probably shouldn't be in your command zone, dear listener, but in the 99...
Pretty fucking good.
Yeah, pretty fucking good. But I don't know, maybe there's an ethical version of this deck, or maybe you're in a meta where this is the type of people you are.
Everybody do that shit.
Yeah. Shantoto Tactician Magician. I hope I said that right. 1, a blue, and a red for a 0/4. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Shantoto gets X + O until end of turn, where X is the mana value of that spell. But if the spell is 4 or greater, draw a card. That's nice, and it's kind of like a Charm Breaker Devil style thing a little bit.
Yeah.
You draw a card.
Yeah.
But you want the 4 mana to replace itself, and you don't want that thing to just be 1.
Sure.
Who else? Zethi Arcane Blade Master. 1, a white and a blue for a 3/3 human soldier with multi-kicker. When Zethi Arcane Blade Master enters the battlefield, exile up to X target instant or sorcery cards from your graveyard, where X is the number of times Zethi was kicked. Put a kick counter on each of them. Whenever Zethi attacks, copy each exiled card you own with kick counters on it. You may cast new targets for the copies. I think this kind of cuts both ways. There's a version of this where it's kind of like the Arcane Bombardment in your command zone a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they don't go away. She keeps getting, okay, hang on. It's like Mersil, I guess, with instants or sorceries.
Sure.
Another way to think about it.
They're away, but in a way that she has access.
Yeah. Maybe
right?
this one would kind of blend the two, but I do think you want stuff that's like, it's fucking good. Like,
this is a weird one.
I know, right? It's supposed to be Chun-Li or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see?
Yeah, yeah.
But the spells, like the bigger the spells, the crazier that's gonna be, right? Hedetsuku Devouring Chaos, 4 mana, red and a black for a 4/4 ogre demon. You can pay red, sacrifice a creature, scry 2, or 2 in a red, tap, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a non-land card this way, Hedetsugu Devouring Chaos deals damage equal to the exiled card's mana value to any target. So the bigger the spell is, the more damage he's going to do. It becomes like kind of a board wipe, or not a board wipe, but very solid removal / burn.
Yeah.
Probably pretty good in the zone for a high mana value Rakdos Spellslinger deck.
Should think so.
Baral and Kari Zev. I actually really like this one when we look at it through this lens. 1 a blue and a red for a 2/4 with First Strike Menace. This is definitely something like that you wouldn't put out on turn 3. That's not what these guys are for, even though they've got First Strike Menace. Well, I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you do, just to harass people, I suppose. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, you may cast a spell with a lesser mana value that shares a card type with it from your hand without paying its mana cost. But if you don't, you just get the pirate, the Ragavan.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to go higher so you can get the lower. It's like hand cascade kind of thing. It's not crazy, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah, right? Like, all right, I'm going to cast a 5 mana spell and a 4 mana spell.
Like, here we go.
But if one of them is draw and the other is damage, like as long as you've got the mix right, you'll be able to kind of
let's rock,
imitate what you're able to do with the low mana value. So yeah, Zephi Thunder Conductor.
Yeah,
not collector, guys. Thunder Conductor. 2 a blue and a red. Legendary creature, human shaman, a 1/4. This is just, it almost wants you to. I mean, I guess he could exist between those colleges. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, you scry 1. If the spell's mana value is 5 or greater, you get the 4/4. If 4/4 elemental token. If the spell's mana value is 10 or greater, Zephi Thunder Collector deals 10 damage to an opponent chosen at random. So kind of between the two. The 4 is really crazy though. Like
getting that 4/4.
This is a well-known precon that's strong. Like that precon in that environment, I heard was pretty powerful against its opponents because of this dude. Alania Divergent Storm. Storm in the name, I don't align with this being too low on mana value because of what it does, right?
Yeah, it's at its best when you're just trying to hit each of the steps that it sees. Right?
Yeah. So 3 a blue and a red for a 3/5 Otter Wizard. Whenever you cast a spell, if it's an instant spell or the first instant for sorcery or first otter, you may have an opponent draw a card. If you do, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So everything that I've just described about copying spells exists here. She does an imitation of GF Cerberus if you cast an instant and then cast a sorcery on the same turn.
Tiffany had a turn when I last played against this deck of hers where she did an otter, an instant, a sorcery. Like she cashed in on all 3.
Yes.
And that's really what you want.
Yes. Twinning spells is really strong, especially when you have additional costs that must be paid. Mm-hmm. So something like Big Score is pretty cracked here.
Yeah.
Because you pay the cost once, but then you draw 4 cards and produce 4 treasures. And then you follow that up with your sorcery. Other spells start to look pretty wild too. So like one of the cards that she has just doesn't synergize with the rest of the deck, but it's fine, is Tasha's Hideous Laughter.
Oh yeah.
Twinning that with her, dude, it's just a lot of cards we lose. Like they go into exile. They don't mill. They're just gone. They go back in the deck box.
Yeah.
We're just exiling huge sums of our deck. And the lower MV decks that are up against this, they're going to lose a lot of cards.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not that crazy. Cards like Fiery Confluence, the damage to mana value with those spells are really, that's one of my cards that is in this list. But
yeah.
Or even what's the other one? Mystic Confluence. You're just getting a lot of bang for your buck with something like this. I think she just seems more attractive with this type of thing.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Tella Great Sage. 3 a blue and a red for a 3/3 legendary creature, human wizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get a 1/1 you get a hero, right? If 4 or more mana was spent to cast a spell, draw 2 cards. Okay.
It's like that's a pretty big cash in.
If 8 or more mana was spent to cast that spell, sacrifice Tella and it deals damage equal that much damage to each opponent. So he just kind of skips some of the random. He's He kind of exists in the spaces between Zephi a little bit. Like,
yeah.
It's pretty wild, dude. This guy is nuts. If you're just sitting in that middle range, he could be your Jin Gataxius, where
True.
it's like, okay, it's 4 or greater, I'm drawing 2. So the deck I have him in is that, what's her face? Ashling.
Oh, right.
Every time I shoot it, he kills himself. I just find the big spell and I'm like, fuck it, let's
Like,
make
here
a
we
soldier
go.
draw 2 and have him nuke himself. I've never kept him around. He almost kills himself all the time. This dude.
He's like, I'm fucking ready.
As is his destiny. Hedetsuku and Kairi. So the other side of this, I don't know how you build. This is another Dance Macabre like adjacent deck that people talk about it on and off, and we're like, I don't know if you should do that. This thing seems wild, but in high mana value areas, that makes sense to have this here. And Yuriko, right? 2 blue and a black for a 5/4. It's got flying. It's an ogre. It's a demon. It's a dragon. When Hedetsugu and Kairi enter the battlefield, draw 3 cards, then put 2 of them, 2 from your hand on top of your library. When this thing dies, exile the top card of your library. Target opponent loses life equal to its mana value. If it's an instant or sorcery card, so it's like specifically looking for that type of card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost.
Crazy.
Yeah, dude. With freaking,
That's crazy.
With Dance, that's too much. That's just like, get the fuck out. That's too strong. That's too strong. That's too strong. Are you connecting with any of these? So like with the we've been laying down.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out where I would want to inhabit, because I kind of like these ones that twin, right? Like, I think that's the thing that I'm into.
What about Wart the Raid Mother? You remember this psycho?
I do remember this.
6 mana for a 3/3 Goblin Shaman. When Wart the Raid Mother enters the battlefield, you create 2 1/1 red-green Goblin Warrior creature tokens. Each red or green instant or sorcery spell you control have cast. They basically can be twinned, right? As you cast the spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control that share a color with it. When you do, copy it, and you may choose new targets for the copy.
And then there's that enchantment that just came out that basically matches this too, right?
So you have redundancy and magnificate. You can go off with it.
Yeah.
This is a extremely high, like you don't want to be doing low stuff with this.
No.
You know?
But it's also, I will say, I think with some of these ones like this, they're tricky, because I watched Brad struggle with this deck sometimes.
Okay,
Sometimes he popped off.
Yeah.
Like
incredibly.
Like you would expect. And other times the vulnerability of having, because, you know, rightfully in any deck where you're twinning things, you should have a hoop you got to jump through.
Mm-hmm.
And the Conspire hoop sometimes can be unbuttoned.
Yeah.
And
they'll counter it and you'll get the twin anyway.
Yeah.
But the real big thing is that board wipes are just like you have to maintain this board presence.
Yeah, they crush you.
That we've already, at least to my mind, a lot of these big things you want to be doing. There are token generators, I guess. Like you keep going, it gets kind of fucking crazy. Like you can twin some spells, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a cool legend, but the meta can definitely get under it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing Brad experienced of all his decks. This one, it had a clear thing that we could pick off.
Yeah. There's one other one, and we've seen this one here and there, and I don't know. You have to have a different kind of temperament to run this guy. He lends himself to a department of decks that I think we'll talk about later. Him and this Jin Gataxius. It's Arjun the Shifting Flame.
Oh, yeah.
So 6 mana, 5/5 Sphinx Wizard. This is an incredible legend, dear listener. It's just, what do you do? Flying, whenever you cast a spell, put the cards in your hand on the bottom of your library in any order, draw that many cards. So this is a wheel effect in your hand that just is ongoing. You really, I think there's a couple ways to go at this. The way I've seen it is the mana value is very low. And as such, the whole deck is kind of a homogenization of that fact, right? Like it's more of basically the same card that I already have in my hand. All cards I have in my hand.
Yeah.
And what I'm looking for is draw triggers. Whenever you draw a card, something happens, because that is something that's just getting magnified like crazy. So something like Teferi's Ageless Insight, your hand doubles in size.
Yeah, and that's a pretty easy hook to get yourself hooked into as well.
Yeah. He is the omniscience commander in my view. if you're omniscient, this is just fucking nuts. It will be really difficult for your opponents to not want to sell their magic collection while you go through your turn. I'm wondering, however, what if you just bring the mana value up on this? Like, does that help? Does that hurt? I don't know.
Yeah,
you don't get
does
more
it change
cards.
the reputation?
You don't get more cards, but really, like, I think what you have to tell yourself is like, what is the best spell right fucking now in this instance?
Yeah.
And I just shoot it.
Yeah.
So it's training you just to kind of like shoot the fucking J and move and get the new hand. I don't know. Or the mana rocks where you're like, I need to go up in mana. Those are the things I care about. I'll see those later. Maybe we'll see. So you're just like driving this fucking bus through town. And I don't know, you're playing like, what is that game called? Was it called Crazy Taxi or whatever that old game for the Dreamcast was? Like, you're just trying to get to the next destination, pick shit up and drop it off. Like, I don't know. I've been thinking about this guy and I'm like, he's so sick. There's no one else in the game that does something like this.
It's a very peculiar
But
ability.
unfortunately, he tends to really exploit it. You want the on-draw triggers. Maybe you still go for those because a lot of these big spells draw you cards. Yeah.
Could be.
I guess.
Could be.
I guess. I don't know.
It's an interesting legend.
People will do that like weird. It's like a lizard that stops you from drawing or something. Like they'll do that to stop this effect or something to like pause. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. Just don't. Just don't.
So I'm curious your thought. I think I know the answer, but I'm curious your thought on the type of legend you prefer in this space. Is it the like mana assist, the twin assist? Like, where are you fitting in terms of preference?
Yeah. You know that I lately and for the mana. Depending on what I'm doing, I guess. So currently I have 2 decks that I think fit in this school of play. The Smasher and Galanra deck, which in my mind is extremely control heavy. It's in Jund. It doesn't have the card replacement effects that these blue, there's our black spells that draw you cards. There's even green spells that draw you cards, right? But I seem to get along better if I'm tearing your guys' stuff down more often than just looking for more cards.
Yeah.
Galanra helps cast spells a little bit, but it's really just the virtue of having green. So I think if I really wanted to lean harder into this and stay in those colors, I probably would switch over to like Urlock or whatever that dude's name is and go there. I guess adjacent to these I have Cormella as a commander. I don't play it because of its nature of recursive edict effects. It's a control deck.
Yeah.
It's the Dance Macabre deck.
Yeah.
Even though Brad has one and I think now Chris has one, but I just don't play it because we've been trying to onboard a newer player, which is Zach. And I think discard and edicts are just not for new players. I just don't think you should be playing those kind of cards in front of them.
Yeah.
They're hard, right? It's just like, what? Yeah. So I haven't been playing it. It's been sitting on my shelf for like forever. The other one I have is more proactive. It doesn't have a lot of control stuff like this going on in it. And it's the Ashling deck. It does have stuff like Prophetic Bolt, where I can burst something and look at 2. Like, it's almost like if it has a draw effect, I'm interested. But it does run those like, hey, I'm ditching these to get a treasure. I'm ditching that to get a treasure.
Yeah.
I'm really just trying to be the problem. It has like, I think I don't have any counter spells in the actual paper list.
Oh, interesting.
It's really just, I'm just burping out stuff. So
yeah,
I prefer having the mana, and that's because you could take some of these legends and thread them into the 99.
True.
And you don't have that other side of this, which is what you were kind of mentioned in the last episode of you don't have charity anyway when you're playing like with these types of cards, I guess. And if you're showing a twin in your command zone, a guy that can do stuff like that, I just don't know, like
it's really hard.
Are people going to be okay with that for too long?
I really am tempted by that because I like that idea of, I like the big mana value Spellslinger concept of an arc of a game where you let everybody else at the table start pushing their boulder up the hill. You have that disrupt moment where you push it back down the hill.
Yeah.
Like, here's your Sisyphean moment, and then on the other side of that, here's my big twin.
Right.
You guys fucking die.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of like architecture of a big mana value game that I want, but it's really hard when you've got that reputation in the zone.
You've got the reputation, and then the deck construction has to think about mana more.
Yeah.
Then it's already, it's not solved.
So this is
you're like, okay, well, I got to have more mana rock density than I typically would.
My last attempt at this was pre the bracket system, and I had the Dockside Extortionist. I put that in my deck because I just needed something
to get you mana,
to get my mana rolling in the direction I needed to it. So I was putting stuff like Dockside Extortionist and Brass's Bounty and every iteration of big score that I could get my hands on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm not as skilled at Spellslinger brewing as you are, but it's something in the zone to have that twin that is a bit of a responsibility.
Yeah. I think as we work through this series, I think what I'm planning, again, like I'm loosely hitting this stuff. It doesn't feel like it because we've just been going on for forever, but my plan next is to talk about some of the architecture that exists. I think the departments that exist over here. So for specifically Gandalf, the line was the clones, getting multiple Gandalfs.
Yeah, so I wanted to get a clutch of Gandalfs and then use all of them to twin some crazy spell.
Yeah, so I think with this side of the college, what is valuable to us is things that I've been saying this a lot lately, which is the compounding nature of the cards. Can we compound on any of this?
Yeah.
When we're talking about a sorcery that also clones Gandalf, so something like Irenicus's Vile Duplication or whatever, that has a higher compounding possibility.
It's true.
If you use his ability to twin, you get 2 new Gandalfs that come in with more of the bags of tricks that Gandalf. What is it, Gandalf the Grey? Is that the one?
I think that's the one.
Anyway, it's the one where you have different modes and eventually you have to bounce him.
Bounce him back to hand.
Right. Yeah. Or flicker him or whatever. So there seems to be lanes that I've noticed work the best. The other thing would be like the recursion, getting them again over and over again. So if you're thinking about the same deck, does it make sense to clone Gandalf, or does it make sense to get multiple copies of the Flamer of Tzeentch to go again and go again and go again? Where the boulder is growing on your side and looking more and more difficult.
It's true.
So the last game I had I'll walk you through what happened. Dear listener, Kyle and it was me, Kyle, Cody, and Chris. Kyle's on his Butts Matters deck. I'm on this thing, the Ashling. Cody is playing fucking Shorakai, which is just crazy commander, even with the restrictions he's put on it, which is vehicles, but it's still wild. And then Chris, I think, was playing Genova, which is a well-known killing machine in our meta. Like, it just gets fucking wild, this thing, right? So Kyle has a really big turn. He does a massive, very early last March of the Ents, and it sort of whiffs. It doesn't hit as hard as I had
used Glunch to get into it early.
Yeah, he's basically doing what I'm doing. He's almost having the identical game as I am. He has his own Ashling. He's not giving himself. And by the way, I'm getting nothing from Glunch. Like, I don't get counters. I don't get shit, right? He doesn't give me the card. So we get to my turn, and I wake up staring at a 10-2. You don't have your toughness thing going yet, but you've got your commander, a 10-2, and fucking Zetalpa. I'm like staring at Zetalpa. And what I have is my Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch. And I get, I don't know what I had shot at this point, but it was more utility. So I get that back into my hand at random because my graveyard's shallow. It's very likely that I'm going to get a good hit, which is kind of what I'm pointing to. And I'm like, okay, I can board wipe right now and wipe everything out. But I'm going to eat Zetalpa for this. I'm going to take 8 if I do this. So I want so bad, and I have a clone in my hand. I want so badly to pick up more of these Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch just to dig myself into this.
Yeah.
But I make, I think, a tactical decision to just clone Zetalpa simply as a blocker. He's one hell of a card. I mean, he's vigilant. It's one hell of a clone.
So many words.
So I board and I clone. And we kind of go from there. And you're like, okay. And then they both die. I remember spending time drawing the damn card.
Yeah.
And they get edicted away.
Yeah.
And the only thing that remains is the Tzeentch, the Exalted Flamer of Tzeentch. And that's where it was his board wipe that really started shoving things in my direction. It was the pick 4 toughness.
Yes.
Is that the one? Slaughter the Strong or Citywide Bust or one of those where it's like, you really only can keep 4 toughness worth. Well, Zatalpa's 8 toughness. They both got to go. So we melt down and the Tzeentch thing's there and that clone spell gets picked back up out of the graveyard. So I'm like, okay, well now I'm going to just keep pushing on this thing. And it really just became like my tempo game from then on because of his board wipe. Because you had
because I recognized pretty quickly I could not get back on top of you because then you started to acquire cards.
Right. Yeah, I think I had Tella for 2 seconds and he killed himself, and it was a crazy game where I'm just shoving. It felt like a Brad game. There was a mana geyser involved. Like
there was a spin down counter with mana.
There was Brad's mana die is what we call it, right? You reach for Brad's mana die and count up your mana. But I guess the point I'm making here is what worked in the deck is I have this kind of recursive nature built into it. Like there's multiple, the Tzeentch thing was the best example, but I have multiple ways to recapture these cards. I'm not going to let them go.
Sure.
And a lot of type of clone effects. So I can get more of them, more Archaeomancers where I can split the thing and get the 2. I'm not really leaning on big spell and hope for the best.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Especially because I don't want to be control footed. I had the board wipe, but it was that weird Cascade one that deals the MV to everybody, the one that we talked about. Right. That's what cleared everything out.
Yeah.
Minus the fucking Zatalpas. And then Chris handled the rest. But yeah, it's not really set up like that. So for example, another thing that I was using was Red Sun's Twilight.
Yes.
As a way to brick artifacts. And I just get a temporary copy of them.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, like, what deck do I see almost every time we play? Zach Sauron list, who is very interested in getting quality mana rocks down to get his goddamn commander out as soon as he can so he can start getting that army, and then he's starting to wheel. So I'm like, this is a good card right now because I keep seeing this fucking deck every night.
True.
And I'll just get them, pick up some mana and do it. But now I'm up against Shorakai, but in a low MV setting, it would have been a braid. There really wasn't a single target I should have abraded of his deck. Yeah. He was going off. He had a Consfix situation where he was untapping every cycle.
He did.
Getting drawing 2, discarding 1, making more and more pilots. Like he was going to set himself off.
Yeah.
He drained a counterspell on something else. And I'm like, this is my moment. I got to do it. Because if I let him get another cycle, I don't know if I can deal with this.
It's true.
So I got him and grabbed some of his junk, and it really wasn't super helpful for me. I did some twiddling a little bit.
Yeah, I remember thinking, I'm like, he didn't get much out of that, but whatever.
But whatever. It's better than just a one-off braid. You know, because of the scale my deck is trying to operate at.
Yeah.
And so now he's going like, oh, I really hope he doesn't get that Red Sun's Twilight again.
It's interesting.
I can't set back up.
Because I think what I'm gathering from this is just maybe a little more trust in the 99 is really what it is. Like trust the construction, trust what the 99 can do, and making choices so that you can trust the 99, right? Like you made choices where you could trust it.
Yeah. So the Cascade, I'm like, I don't know, I'll hit something okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to hit hopefully any whiffy type cards. The deck is built as such that I'm trying to be more the problem than I typically am, where the Smasher deck is not like that. It's looking to be like, okay, let's manage everything because it can't replace the card. It's that card advantage problem. I can't get my goddamn cards back at the rate I can with Izzet. So they're different. They're playing a little different. It doesn't mean that I don't have answers for shit. I will never have a deck that's air quote all gas, no brakes. I won't do it. It's not in my temperament.
I was like, that's not Andy's style.
It's why I have a monocolored deck of every color besides red. I can't fucking bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
So I really like this college of spell slinging a lot lately because you finally get to do something with these cool, bigger, splashier spells.
Things a lot of us for probably many years in the stretch of our EDH careers just don't look at.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're fun to play.
When we come back with this idea, I'm going to start talking about some of these things that I think are just departments within Spellslinger, like Flicker. I think Flicker is a Spellslinger deck.
I've been thinking that through this episode. I'm like, I think my Flicker deck is a Spellslinger deck that has permanents that yield the big triggers I want.
Right.
But it's Spellslinger deck.
I think it exists in a department. We'll have to figure out which.
Yeah.
Cloning things, I think too many starts to look like this a little bit, especially if you're able to grab something like, that Gandalf deck was crazy. Like there was moments where
when
like,
it popped,
he's going to do the damage to everybody. How many does he have? Like it was pretty fucking cool, dude. I really liked that deck.
Yeah.
I think cloning is a department. I think control is something that I don't know. There's been conversations popping off in our Discord where we're talking about different types of control. I really want to talk about proactive versus reactive play too, a little bit too, where when does it make sense? Me and Kyle say the front foot or the back foot, right? Like really what we mean is if you're on the front foot of the game, it seems like the environment right now seems good for you to keep pushing and putting more things into play.
Mhm.
Like post a board wipe is usually a good time to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
Unless there's a known black player full of edicts in their deck or something. But like it's good for you to just take the initiative and press people. Or you have exit plans where it's like, it doesn't matter if this thing gets answered. I have ways to capitalize on it. I'm okay.
Yeah.
So you're being more proactive. You're throwing the punches versus reacting.
Yeah.
But then there's the other place where it's like, I really can't be doing this because of how my deck is constructed. Or worse, the deck is constructed to really, really take advantage of this. So I think Aikido falls into this style of...
It's true.
It's a Spellslinger deck because if you really think about the big Aikido cards, they're instants and sorceries, a lot of them.
And I think those two are illustrative of like, that and blink or flicker or whatever you want to call it.
Whatever people call it. Yeah, blink.
Like that they, there's kind of like a set up but leave mana up approach, right? Where like I'm expecting something to happen not on my turn.
Yeah, because blink answers so many problems.
And I'm ready for it.
It's so cracked. Blink is so cracked. I want to look through those a little bit. I've been working on lists, like budget versions of some of these things. I don't want to repeat stuff that we've done. It's hard. This one's hard because I've talked a lot about, I do this. These are like my decks, you know, but like I did a pre-con version of the Smasher deck. I've done a pre-con version of Dance Macabre. So
yeah,
I'll try not to go there. There's a few that I'm messing with right now where I'm like, this seems to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Like a good idea. One of them, I'm like,
see.
I think I can actually just do this. I think this is a good time for something like that. But that's where we're at.
Okay.
We'll play it by ear, though. I don't know.
Yeah. And keep an eye as Strixhaven approaches for review stuff. I mean, we're a few weeks out still, but
yeah,
next month.
Right. If I'm not done with this whole series as we run into...
We will be done. Well, unless you've got like
How
8 episodes in you.
You think I'm impotent, dude? I've got 5 mana open right now, and it's your turn.